Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and this is the last show for me before I head over to Reno for the SOR fan party. Can't wait to see all of those of you coming to the show. And for those of you at home, we will be live on Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for the fun show and on YouTube here. All right. Geraldine Orozco is here. She'll be here momentarily. And we have all of you, including Race Fan in the gold medal position, Roy Boy with a silver, Robert Lamoth with a bronze medal tonight, Michael Morris, Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, the Body Electric Supplement. Welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. Karen in the Woo Train, how you doing? And Kathy Evans, Marie Palmer, thank you all for coming on in. Cosmic Joe, Guth 1980, welcome to SOR Chat. And let's see here. Dutch Henk is here. Dutch Henk will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Toe Tag, Paramarv, how you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. Les Paul Holland strumming away in Australia. Eternity Eternal, thank you for coming on in. And who else is next here? T-Bone, my man. Thank you for joining us. Tim Mothman and his goatee. See you in Reno in a couple days, my friend. Operation Shutdown. Thunderhead, welcome to SOR Chat. And who's next on our list here? Well, let's take a little look. S for Matt. Chris. Teen, nice to see you. And Thomas Rock, good to have you here. Melvin from Mars, thank you for joining us. Human Carl is here. A great veteran of the United States Air Force. Human Carl, we're going to miss you in Reno. Third time's a charm next year, buddy. Third time's a charm. If not, I'm bringing it to you. I'm going to fly down and bring it to you. You miss next year, I'm going to fly down to where you are, and we're going to have our own SOR fan party. I promise you. Ozzy, Dewey, Cheatham, how you guys doing? Brown Dwarf is back. Brown Dwarf will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Curling 215 pounds 17 times. Over on Twitch, it's Little Cam. And who else do we have? Matthew Gutka, Chris Desmarais. Let's go Oilers. Let's go Oilers. Lee the Bee. Algaray over on Twitch. Yep. Shoulder pressing 625 pounds 58 times tonight. Deer Slayer, thank you for joining us. And who else is here? Purple-haired Pixie Lara, thank you for joining us. Hi, Super Crazy. Gizmo, Latchkey Hustle, good to have you all here. And Bobbert, nice to see you. Richard Elmore, Susan Alloway, and W. Decker, thank you all for coming on in. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. Skip to Malou, good morning to you. And David Hayworth, good to have you here. Wagon Breadth 11.3. Good to see you. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears as Geraldine Orozco and the spiritual you will get going here momentarily. We are at roll call, and there's Bill WD-40 lubing us up for tonight's show, because you always want to go into a show nice and smooth, and Bill makes that happen. Hi, Wildberry. Nina Williams, thank you for coming on in. Christine Lynn, good to see you. T-Bone, my man, thank you for kicking off the super chat. Very much appreciate your continued love and support. Lone Wanderer, Sasquatch Guy, nice to see you both. And we are ready. Hellenbach, good to see you. And do me a favor, everybody. It's that time of the night. Throw those horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Navy the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out, Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a fun show planned for you tonight. In moments, Geraldine Orozco will be here for the spiritual you. Then in hour number 3, we have Steve Stockton from Among the Missing. Jackie Harmon will be here for the Cryptid Report. Now, we are just awaiting Geraldine Orozco to arrive. She's getting home late tonight. She's actually home just getting ready to sign into her computer. But I'm telling you, this weekend coming up is going to be an absolute blast. And if you're listening in Radio Land or even on YouTube Land or wherever you may be catching this podcast land, I got to tell you, next year, make sure you join us for the SOR fan party. We have a lot of fun putting this together. As we last couple of years, we were in Las Vegas. This year, we are in Reno, Nevada, hanging on out, bringing in a bunch of people that you hear on this show frequently. And we want to make sure that we bring it to you. You know, you go to these conferences out there, and they're charging like $350, $400 for a weekend, and you might never even talk to your guest. Though you go there for someone, maybe you got a book of theirs that you want them to autograph, and you go to their speech, and then all of a sudden they disappear, and you never see them the entire weekend, and you're kind of bummed by that. That's not what we do at the fan party, you know? So we're going to go to Reno, and we're going to have a blast at our VIP party with our special guests and our fans there. We're going to ham it up a little bit because that's what we do. There's going to be a ghost tour at Virginia City and so much more happening. And I tell you, I don't like taking nights off this show because this show has just become a big part of what I do in my daily life. And I like being the resident weirdo in my town. I got to tell you, for me, it's a lot of fun. You know, when I go down the street in my little town of 2,000 people and they're like, hey, you're that ghost guy, or hey, you're that Sasquatch guy. And I'm like, yeah, I am. It's amazing how much people get comfortable when they know that they're going to have somebody to believe their story. And that's what I love about doing what I do, is I love being able to sit down and have a complete stranger come up to me and say, I don't know if you'll believe me, but I got some weird stuff happening in my house. Or I watched a UFO light up my backyard and there's now this burn spot. Now, that's never happened personally. I'm just making that one up. But, it's amazing how people feel immediately because you're in a position like this that they feel that they can come up and tell you their story. And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about this job. So the fan party is for all of you guys to maybe not this year. It's probably a little bit too late this year. This year, very spontaneous and want to join us at the Silver Legacy Casino Resort this weekend. But if you can't, plan it for next year because we do it all for you. We make it so interactive that we want to have fun. And one of the people, I got to find out, I think she's coming. Geraldine Orozco is here. Her hair is looking absolutely outstanding. You can't see that on the radio side. You'll have to take my word for it. But Geraldine always has amazing hair and just a beautiful smile. Geraldine is here. Let's read your bio. Let me just read your bio. She researches the role of DNA as the past currency of the past, present, and future with consciousness as a catalyst. In 2013, she had a life-changing contact experience, which activated her psychic abilities. In 2017, she underwent several hypnotic regressions to find out what was going on. And apparently, she had a long history of alien abduction and human hybridization. Now, Geraldine at GeraldineOrozco.com spends her time hanging out with people just like you, and she helps counsel and heal those who need a little bit of mind, body, soul, and alien treatment. Geraldine Orozco, it's a pleasure to have you here. How are you, my friend? We can barely hear you. Your microphone is not working.
How about now?
There, now you got it.
Okay. Oh, it's so wonderful to be here. How are you? It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for being here.
Are you going to be able to make it this weekend?
This weekend, no, I'm so sorry. I cannot make it. Yes, I wish I could, but I have my little cousin's graduation. He's graduating from Hawaii State. Yes, and it's such a huge family thing. We actually just found out about it just a couple weeks ago, and we had to make changes for that. So I'm going to be missing you guys this time, but I will be there hopefully next year.
Well, you know what? Next year, you definitely got to be there because
Okay,
you had fun last year in Vegas, and
right.
wherever we have it next year, you know what? We're gonna miss you this year, but we'll send positive vibes and energy that next year you could join us. How about that?
I really hope so. It's going to be an honor. Thank you.
What have you been up to? Have you been quite busy?
Oh, very busy. These last 2 months have been like incredibly crazy month. So much going on. A lot of people coming into realizations, powerful healings, needing to have conversations. I've had more incredible conversations these last 2 months than I have, I think, my entire career in this work. So it's powerful times, and yeah, it's exciting times also.
I want to get your opinion of something here.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit off base, but I do this show each and every night. And I know sometimes when you get an opportunity when you're not working from 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. each and every day, that you actually do take the time to check up on old Davy because we have that brother sister type relationship. I want to ask you, as someone who deals daily with experiencers, how much more fulfilling is it for you to do that than to get into the politics of ufology of what's going on and everything that seems to be happening in the mainstream news with this subject? Because I'm finding it very difficult right now to love ufology the way I used to.
Oh, I can definitely understand, the challenge that comes with that, especially being in the field. You have been in this, I think, longer than I have, of course. So you've kind of been privy to the changes through the ages of how we've kind of gone through this disclosure process. But in my opinion, my humble opinion, and based on what I have worked with in these last 12, 15 years, one of the most powerful things is understanding that the disclosure is really of the people. It's really when you listen to you know the average Joe, the person that is working at the gas station, the doctor, the lawyer that comes to you and starts to share about their experience. You begin to realize that this is going to happen whether the government wants to talk about it or whether even our own industry is actually doing what needs to be done for it to be disclosed. I think it's in our hands. I think it's a very individual thing, and it is extremely rewarding. It's a gift to me to be able to hold space for people in supporting a platform for them to be able to come to their truth and to integrate their truth, which is a very powerful position to be in, and a very it's a very joyful position to be in. It's powerful in the sense that it's a very sensitive topic and that you have to hold powerful space in neutrality. Sometimes I hear incredible things that, are just mind blowing. And we have to be constantly evolving ourselves as the people that host and hold space for these sessions, because things are changing so quickly that the kind of experiences that people are having are truly evolutionary. They are evolving even in the way that we know contact for the past 10 years. The way that we're talking about this, the language that we're using, the comfort that we have at this time to have these kinds of conversations is really something it's groundbreaking. And I think that it shows that humanity is ready, extremely ready. We've been ready, and we're already having these conversations, whether disclosure industry field is, where it needs to be. And I think it's up to us to understand the difference between depending on certain groups to give information the way they should or not do it. It's about us individually and how we see the information. I think that's the important thing.
And I would agree with you. I believe disclosure is an individual effort, and I just there's so much about ufology right now that is not fun. Like when I started this almost 10 years ago now, all I wanted to do is I wanted to interview people who were researchers of the phenomena and people who've had amazing encounters and experiences that are just absolutely life changing. And for the most part, I think we've done a good job with that. But over the last couple of years, we really tried to shift over to the idea that this is becoming a major news story. And the more I just kind of sit there and deal with that side of things, the more ugly it seems to be getting. It's not a polite world out there, especially in this field. And I feel bad that the experiencers are taking it on the chin for the most part, because there are so many people who think that science and the military are going to solve this issue, when I don't believe that whatsoever. I think that's a cop out. So I'm just curious, for you as someone who deals with experiencers on a daily basis, has the attitude changed in people, uh, that they think this is something is going to be good for society, good for them, or are they more confident in speaking out because of what's come out? How do you take people these days?
I think ET contact at this point, we have come to a certain level of maturity, and I think what's brought that maturity on is the fact that we have many kind of aspects of the ET community. There's the aspect of the community that talks about positive contact. There's that aspect that talks about negative contact. There's even the military element of it. I think that slowly, I think humanity and those experiencers usually are very good at listening and informing themselves about these different aspects. And I think that we've come to some beginning level of a maturity where we're beginning to understand that there's many layers to contact. There's many perspectives when it comes to contact. And for that reason, each individual is realizing that ET contact is very much in par with spiritual evolution. We scientifically have proven that you need to be holding a certain vibrational frequency in order to be aligned with these beings, to be encountering them, to be interacting with them. We look at the film that Coraline Corey made about A Tear in the Sky, and we understand that there are dimensional portals that are being opened. So we're not talking about something in which humanity needs to have their ego involved with. And I think that what the mistake that we make is that we get attached to certain concepts in this field. The egos get involved. People want to be famous or have personalities attached to the information that's being given. And really, this information is so vast, and you just cannot grasp and control the massive amounts of ever evolving information that's coming through contactees and through the information ways. I think that right now we all need to come to as much of a neutral place in humility, to understand that we don't know anything yet. We're still learning. We're barely beginning to understand. Those that are more connected to themselves, those that have developed intuition, those that are working on their spiritual cultivation, are the ones that are able to tune in to pure form information and to see things in a very neutral way, that isn't going to come from the perspective of military or control. And that is a very big problem. People want to talk about military control, wars. This is a very dualistic mentality. And it's something that we need to slowly recognize. And if we're doing it, we also have to recognize if we're doing it, and then slowly evolve into a more unity consciousness. And I think that ET contact is an invitation for just that. So if you were to ask, in the bigger picture, what's one of humanity's purpose at this time? Just the fact that we're all sharing this timeline in which we can even have conversations about disclosure. One of the key invitations that humanity has is to begin to change their mind from single individualistic ways of looking at things, people, places, and begin to transform into more unity way of thinking. Because ultimately, the conversation of ET contact is the conversation of consciousness, and at the core of that is how we cultivate our life force and our creative abilities.
I love that answer. I don't think you could have made it any better. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Do you ever get worn out? Do you ever just and I know you're working hard for humanity and to help each and every person who reaches out to you, but do you ever get to that point, Geraldine, where you're worn out? You're just done you feel like, I can't do this another day?
No, you know what? Actually, my work is what is exciting and keeps me going every day. I'll tell you what about my work does that for me. Uh, you see, every single day when I'm doing DNA reprogramming or I'm putting somebody under hypnosis, people are having massive realizations. They are shifting from a place, let's give an example, of shame, guilt, suppression, stagnation, into the realization that they no longer have to be in that state. And the kind of changes that I hear months later, even years later sometimes, are just incredible, that just those couple hours that I dedicate with people can transform their life in a completely different direction. So for me, this is an honor and a gift. It's a privilege to be able to do that. For me, as in just like you and everyone else that's on the same journey, I have the exact same blockages, limitations that I'm working through as well. And it's very much a spiritual evolution. Another incredible thing that I see is that a lot of my clients, we are going through evolving in parallel. So the same blockages that I have within me, I can see in my clients. And the beauty of this is that we are working together in such a collective manner. So it's not work, in other words. It's a way of living. It's a way of existing. And I try to dedicate as much time to that internal work, my own self, so that I can hold space for that. If I become physically tired because my schedule is insane, yes, that's another thing. But I do use the tools that I know to regenerate them, and to hold that space right away as much as possible. So that's what it is.
How much meditation do you have to heal yourself, so that way you're not taking on everybody's energy around you?
Well, because I teach energy cultivation. I've learned very 10 years ago that when you hold space for someone, you have to learn how to stay in neutrality. Because the moment that you judge, even if you're like surprised or in awe about the information that you're hearing, there's a tremendous amount of emotional energy exchange, and it's very easy for the human to become attached. So one of the things that I work on consistently through my evolution is detachment as much as I can to not become entangled. And I've actually been able to cultivate that pretty good with my sessions, to the point where I create a very, very encapsulating space. And when I'm done with the session, honestly, I don't really remember the things that I work with them, because there's a certain frequency that's created. If I see the person and I work with them again, I will remember, in detail, because I'm tapping into the field which holds pictures of information. So I can see those pictures when I tune into the energy. But once I tune out, my attention is in the present moment. So yeah, it's really important that when you're a healer, because I know there's a lot of people out there that they're actually doing work for others, you understand very carefully how to use energy techniques to be able to, create strong boundaries with how you are holding space for other people. That's very important. The other thing is, how do you balance, your everyday life with doing this work? And that's also extremely important. It's important as a healer to have a lot of stability and to be able to have a peaceful environment so that you can hold that space, because it does take a lot of life force through the body. So yeah, it's a very interesting work.
How many people now over the years have you healed or helped bring peace and guidance to?
Oh,
You
I
keep,
have, I have no idea. I'm usually working with about 3-4 people a day, Monday through Friday. So my schedule, and I've been doing that for the past since 2017. So it's a lot of and of course I teach classes on the weekends, and I do like coaching on top of this separate schedule. So I work with a lot of people, and I think also the people that come to me are people that are absolutely in alignment with this work. Usually it's people that are already doing the shadow work, they're already starting to do the work, and they're ready to go deeper into that work. And I'm surprised about the level. I This week I had a lot of kids doing DNA reprogrammings. My God, those are my favorite sessions. These kids are just phenomenal. They just get it like this. You don't even need to try with them. And they get what I mean by they get it. They understand the higher laws of the universe and boundaries and energy exchanges. It's part of their core ethics already instilled within them. You don't even need to explain it to them, because they haven't gotten as programmed as maybe some of us have had. So it's just amazing to see children that are ready for this kind of work as well.
we got 1 minute to go before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Geraldine Orozco is our guest on Spaced Out Radio. Geraldine, as people move forward and start seeking their own answers to what their personal truth is, how hard is that to find?
Uh, Whether they're looking for their truth.
Yes.
That's a great question. You know what, people, first you need to understand what truth is, because it's your deepest authenticity. And for the beginner, there's going to be many layers to be able to access your authenticity. If you are rooted in a certain perception and your values are in one place, the way that you see truth is going to be a little bit different. So, you have to uncover those layers until you get to that core truth. And also, truths are expansive. So, the deeper you go down the rabbit hole and get to know yourself, your truths begin to expand as well. The higher dimensions you go, truths gently shift a little bit. It's kind of a paradox. It's kind of an ever evolving, but there are certain core laws of the universe by which we all operate. So,
GeraldineOrozco.com is her website, as we have The Spiritual You with Geraldine Orozco, which continues on Spaced Out Radio right after this. Stay tuned, everybody. I just sent you a text message.
Let me see. Where's my? I don't even know where my phone is. Let me find my cell phone. I literally just got it. Oh, there it is. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab it.
All right. Hi, Dirty Filth. Where's Blob? We should time Filth one day on how long it takes him to turn his microphone on.
Actually, I have a better idea, which can save a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll decide it. VoIPing. Holy. Wow, I haven't heard that word for a long time, Dave.
I still don't know what VoIPing is.
I know, but I heard it back in the day, so.
Uh-huh. VoIPing
but you're back in the day. Your VoIPing back, or your back in the day may be different than my back in the day, because, you're like 10,000 years old, and I'm only 1,000 years old, so. Anyway.
Hold on a second here. What do you mean old?
You're getting a little touch gray up there, Dave.
Where?
Everywhere. But I can't really make hair jokes because I'm falling case challenged on my dome, but holy, my hair migrated to the rest of my body. Anyways, Dave. Blob is downstairs, piled on top of the missus, and she's writing some stories currently.
Rock and roll. See, look at how gray. I don't see any gray. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Digging a hole, yeah, that's
You're
where I
digging
sleep in a nice cold spot in the earth on flat ground.
You're a flat ground kind of guy.
It is. I'm terrified. All of a sudden, all these airplanes and teleporters are breaking.
Are you ready for game one?
No.
I am totally ready for game one. Totally ready.
I'm not watching stuff on TV, Dave. I'm bad luck if I watch it on TV, so. Also bad luck if I actually show up at the game, so I'm pretty much banned from hockey, basically.
They won the last couple times you were there.
I know, but that doesn't count because I don't want to bring light to that because hockey gods might be like, "What's that? He's having some luck. Strike him down." Anyways, we're not talking about hockey. It's like ways to get Canadians' blood pressures up. Talking about hockey.
Well, it's better than being a woke Boston Pizza commercial where they're like, why can't we try being friends with the opposition and watch the game together in peace and harmony? Screw that. This is fucking playoffs. Pardon my language. Okay?
You're going to get Leafs and Habs fans to sit down and have a beer together without scrapping in the parking lot?
I have been razzing the shit out of Boston Pizza right across because that just shows you how woke they have become. Trying to get Canuck fan to be best friends and share a beer and a pizza with Oilers fan or anybody in Canada and Leaf fan. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And it's been like this forever.
I know, but it's bullshit. Okay, it's playoffs, man. This ain't intramurals here. It's playoffs. Gory Tiger, how you doing?
Dave Smash. Love it.
It pisses me off.
I wish we lived closer, Dave. I'd come over and
I'd let you, you know what, Filth, I'll tell you right now. I'd let you open up my beer fridge. I would. I'd let you have beer out of my beer fridge.
Is there whiskey in there?
No, that's in another special cupboard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You'll have to edit that out.
You haven't graduated to that yet. All right, we got 30 seconds. Thank you to T-Bone, W. Decker, Ant-Man ×2, and Latchkey for the amazing and great super chats. Thank you very much for the love and support. Reminder, tomorrow night is going to be a replay. Rob G is driving, making his way from California or from SoCal up to Sacramento, then over to Reno. So he'll be driving, and we will, let's just do another half an hour here. What the hell? Here we go at the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can listen to us on any major podcast network as well. Download it for free. And our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco is back on Spaced Out Radio for the Spiritual You, her monthly edition of this show, and we love Geraldine around here. She is absolutely amazing. Geraldine's website is GeraldineOrozco.com. Hi, Geraldine. How are you?
Hello, I'm fantastic. Thank you so much.
All right, let's continue going on here. You know, a lot of people are opening up to the phenomenon. I think a lot of people are opening up to their spirituality. You know, as people open up to see what else is out there that is beyond our sight, hearing, touch, smell, and feeling, how do we guide people to open up the proper way?
That's such an amazing question. So I mentioned that essentially the topic of ET is going to lead to the topic of consciousness, and there are parallels between spirituality and ET contact. Essentially, it's about frequency. It's a frequency game. When we cultivate our frequency, when we are in meditation, and this is why CE5s were designed the way that they are. We go into meditation, we do chanting with the Om, which is a very powerful frequency. Om is actually at the Hertz frequency of the universe. And so that resonance that comes into your body allows you to connect with this level of information, this dimensional plane in which you can access that information. So the beauty about that is that because these organisms, these physical bodies are a conduit of life force, we are learning how to use this body for communication. And we use it for communication in our everyday life. If I feel love, I emit love and people will pick that up. If I feel anger or frustration, people will also pick that up. And in that same way, we're speaking a language with the universe, not just the universe, but interdimensionally. And this is how we connect with spirits. This is how we connect with the elements. This is how we connect with all the natural kingdoms. Humans have like a radio station. We tune our frequencies. Now, because that being said, the frequency that you're holding in your body will define the kind of interactions that you have. So again, if I have an angry energy within me, I'm going to come into resonance with people that will trigger that anger, that will mirror, that will expand that anger. And so we need to be understanding that this is the same kind of law that is occurring interdimensionally. So in dream time, when we are sleeping, we are much more, our subtle energy bodies are much more fluid. They can move, they can navigate freely, but it's all about frequency. If you hold an angry and depressed, let's say, emotions in your body all day long, when it's time to go to sleep, for those of you that have a lot of, and I will mention, the ability to access memory of your dreams and of your past lives, all of this very specific ancestral memory and also memory of your Akashic records. This is something that's cultivated ancestrally, many generations. So some of us, we're already born with a lot of activated DNA, so it's easy for us. We remember those things early on in our lives. Um, for other people, we have, because of trauma, and usually these are very powerful souls, um, go into deep disconnect from this element, for these fields of information, which are the akashic records and the memory centers. And because trauma happens, it's hard for the brain to process memory, because we want to preserve ourselves from feeling difficult emotions. So this will also limit the kind of contact that we're having. So keep these things in mind. One of the most powerful ways to have amazing contact, first of all, to want it. Okay, the intention, your intention in everything is absolutely root number one. And that's in your everyday life, it's in your relationships, it's in your career, and it's also in contact, right? So anytime that you want to interact, you have to have a very clear intention. And from there, the emotions that you hold in your body will, like a radio station, tune you to the kind of beings that you are interacting with. Now, I'm going to add another element to this. Because you have programming that subconsciously infuse very specific programs and emotions in your life. Okay, you'll notice if you begin to think about the emotion that you think that you feel more over the past year, month, all the way into childhood, you'll notice that there are certain core emotions that you experience throughout your whole life. You kind of always feel that way. Okay, this is a very specific frequency. Now, what we want to do is we want to deprogram those emotions that are lower. Let's say we have a program of shame all our lives since we're kids. This participates in our frequency. And so a lot of people that get stuck in feeling or experiencing parasitic experiences or very traumatic experiences, a lot of times they have very deep-rooted core emotional programming. And in order to change this, we have to deprogram some of these programs. And what happens as a result? Their contact begins to change, their interactions, their dreams change, the way that they perceive dreams. Even the dreams have more light, more color. They're no longer blurry or unsure or scared. You see, it is a reflection. The dream states are navigations of dimensional planes that are a reflection of our dimensional frequencies. So we are kind of like fine tuning this incredible organism in order to navigate many dimensions. And the final part is that your contact is encoded in your DNA. Okay, so contact also passes down generations. And this is a product of research that I've been doing for the past few years, that we actually have star seed lineages, like genetically in our DNA, that become expressed as you activate your DNA. As you begin to remember more of who you are, you begin to uncover layers of archetypal bloodlines or star seed lineages within you, and you begin to connect with these beings, these interdimensional beings, more often or more clearly. So it's really important to understand that there's several elements happening here, and all of them are based on how you hold your frequency and your programming.
Wow. I got to ask you something here.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I had a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today, and he just got back into town from a funeral in Saskatchewan, in his hometown. And his 29-year-old cousin, father of four, passed away from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sad. But when one of the ladies who made a speech, his sister-in-law who made a speech, was watching the children while his wife was in the hospital with him while he was in a coma, okay, before he passed. And almost to the second that he passed, their youngest baby, she had taken the four kids to the park to play, and these kids are all under 5 years old. The oldest being 5, the youngest being about 15 months. And the youngest one kept on staring into the evening sun with a big smile on her face, and after a couple of minutes, waved and said, "Dada, bye-bye."
Mm.
And my friend is very religious. And he's like, "Dave, He goes, I was brought to tears by that story. He goes, but my religious side of me is really having a tough time comprehending what actually happened, because what he believes is there is no communication. When you go up to heaven, you go, you start your party, and you don't communicate with people down here. I think that's different. And I told him that today. But there is this spiritual connection that we have with the source, the consciousness, God, the phenomena, whatever you want to call it. How do we embrace that for the good that it has? Because all we ever seem to do as humans is see the negative side.
Yes, and I think, and that's a very good point, that we kind of program to see things negatively, and that's a human condition that we are healing within ourselves. But it's an illusion. It's very much an illusion, because and this goes very deep into organically our biology. The moment that we are gestating in the womb and we pick up mom's emotions or father's emotions, immediately start to create certain perceptions for us. But then we're born, right? And even birth is a very traumatic experience for the human. You take your first breath. It's seemingly violent to be removed out of such a tender womb into this, world where everything is about the five senses. Everything is raw. You're feeling, you're hearing, you're sensing everything around you. And the nature of this dimensional plane is duality. Like, we need to experience both sides of these polarities: the positive, the negative, the good, the bad, the pleasant, the unpleasant. And so one thing that humanity has to work on, especially now, because as you can see, a lot of these belief systems that were rooted in religion, now religion was deeply rooted into us. Many of us still hold traumatic perceptions that were rooted and created from religious beliefs. And one of the things that religion has done, for a very long time, in order to control and manipulate, is to infuse programs of shame, guilt, and fear for the purpose of control. The complete severing and disconnect from the human to their own organism and to their divine guidance, which essentially, that divine guidance is a natural part of a human body, which is the gateway into the connection to the, let's say, God, as religiously would be named, or the source. And I think what we are learning now, as we are slowly moving away from these perceptions of separation, is that the more that the human integrates within themselves, they become a channel of communication with this God. They become a God eventually. For example, Jesus being an incredible example. And Jesus spoke, I grew up in Catholic and private schools, so, I read the Bible, and I grew up, reciting and reading those passages. There was a lot about communication with the source in terms of prayers, how you communicate, and you are interacting, and you enter into that divinity, that divine state of connection and communication. And this is something that we have to dig from certain religious belief systems, but the truth is there. The human just has to follow their intuition when it comes to understanding and processing that information. So we're kind of healing from a lot of social engineering, and we have to recognize that. We have to recognize the world as it really is. There's a tremendous amount of manipulation of our senses, manipulation of fears, manipulations of our insecurities and our doubts, especially in ourselves. And when you manipulate a human from that perspective, you can begin to see things more clearly. So for example, children are so open, as this child was able to see and sense and know ahead of time. So as our adults, as I was saying earlier with my sessions, adults are so deeply programmed. All their connection to their emotions, to their intuition, have been completely blocked due to emotions. And children are still very open. So healing is actually the process of returning back into that childlike state of innocence, in which we no longer have shame or guilt. One of the things is the shame and the guilt around our desires is a major manipulation of man, and one of the hardest for men to break. I'm talking female, male. We have a very hard time being okay with our deepest desires, and that's the biggest blockage to manifestation. It's the biggest blockage to our intuition, and it's the biggest blockage to truth, because we can never see truth when we have such a profound perception. So there's a couple things that have to be kind of removed and changed as we are beginning to see the world as it really is without those filters and programs.
As people start to open up to the stories and they start having their own maybe minor experiences, maybe they're major. Some of us get booted into this, and some of us are trickled in like drips of water. How do we know which path to follow? Whether it's the spirit communication, whether it's just our eyes opening up to what it may be, whether it's psychic ability or intuition like you opened up to and I opened up to. How do we choose that realm, or is it pre-chosen for us?
How do we choose which realm in specific?
Well,
Just how to
sorry,
interact, or
path, not realm, the
oh
path.
yeah, path. Okay, yeah. I think it's definitely, well. Here's the bigger picture. I mean, if we break down our world and the way that it's structured, first of all, you have to understand why these systems of control were implemented. Okay, when the human comes into bliss states, when the human is divinely connected to their source, they are very powerful. The human is extremely powerful. You cannot control the human that is deeply connected to themselves, because they are in a state of bliss. They begin to activate biochemically and bioelectrically um, manifestation and creation abilities. We can manifest into our reality what we want. We can do that. And that's a matter of cultivation of our life force. Now, that's a very scary thing for these systems. And as we know, by looking at the history of how religion has begun and also evolved, we understand that all the ancient lessons, schools of belief systems, texts that have disclosed this information about the power of humanity when it reconnects with the selves and cultivates life force have all been hidden away, stored away, thrown away. Even the Bible itself, all of the hidden books of incredible information of human alchemy or ascension have all been taken out of the mainstream. And it's for the purpose of dumbing down our understanding of ourselves. So if we really understand that, and it takes time to understand that because we have to uncover several rabbit holes to get to that truth, but it's out in the open completely. Once you begin to understand that, then you can begin to understand the importance of the cultivation of yourself. The cultivation of yourself is not just a matter of having a spiritual life. No, it's the core and foundation of human creation, of human life. And it used to be at the very root of that, back when these were being taught in schools, in these ancient mystery schools, by those that have chosen to have that information. Now, I mentioned earlier that even our contact is ancestral. It's in our DNA. Well, our abilities and activated DNA is something that takes many generations to cultivate. So what I find with my clients is in their bloodlines, we trace back some of these past lives into lives as monks, lives as mages, seers, all kinds of connections to ancient civilizations where this wisdom was primary part of their culture. And this is enclosed in our memory. It's enclosed in our DNA, in our genetic history, in the Akashic records of this planet. Why? Because it's the architectural system of manifestation of the earth and all of its organisms, me and you, all humans. So we have this information encoded within our subconscious mind and in our DNA. And it is our invitation, the invitation of experience in the human body, is to be able to remember those core foundational structure to being a human, and then applying that. And what happens is that the human begins to not have disease, not be in poverty, not be helpless and disconnected from themselves. And they are guided by a higher intuitive awareness in which it is not just about the individual service to self, but rather a collective healing, a collective supportive evolutionary way of seeing life.
4 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Geraldine Orozco is with us tonight. Geraldine, what is that core foundation? Where does that come from? Is that something we are born with? Is it predetermined before our spirit enters the womb and the fetus? Where does that core foundation come from?
So the core foundation is essentially it's about the architecture of your biology. So when you incarnate into the three-dimensional plane, into this earth plane, there's a certain instruction manual for how it is to operate the human body in this physical holographic system. And so the core foundation comes from an understanding of that. If you understand that your body functions like a vortex, and that when you spin at a higher rate based on your vibrational frequency, in which you can heal the body, regenerate, manifest, and begin to tune into the manifestation process of the hologram, this is actually how you understand that all of these spiritual concepts, all these ancient schools are based on that core understanding. And they are abiding by what we know as laws of the universe, which essentially are the laws of and the parameters of creation and of all the organisms in relation to the bigger picture, the bigger organism in which we're kind of interacting with. So there are certain laws that we have to learn, and these are indisputable laws within this dimensional plane that apply to all organisms. So when we learn them, now we can play. We can play as humans in a manifested, healthy manner, as opposed to what we're experiencing. But I will mention that the way that I see things is that it's not like we live in a parasitic, horrible world. It's that we live in a world of duality, and that's the whole point. You can choose to live in suffering, and you can cycle. So the thing is that if you do choose low vibrational frequency, a slower vortex rate, what happens is that you fall into cycles, and that's one of the laws of this universe, that everything that becomes dormant, unconscious, in a hypnotic state begins to repeat. Okay, so that's the thing. So you can choose to repeat lifetimes of suffering. Same thing. I have clients that, for 17 lifetimes, they have the same challenge. They cannot trust in themselves. All of these lifetimes. It's in their ancestral lineage. Finally, in this lifetime, they finally learn how to do that. And there is an initiation. There is an ascension. And the next lifetime that they're choosing is something that is a match to that higher frequency. So we have to understand that, this is a bigger picture. And the other part is that when you heal yourself, you're also healing all of your ancestral lineage, and me and you, this collective realm, is based on resonance. So the more I activate my DNA, the more I see who I am as the whole, and I see you as an extension of me, all of us that are here on this call as an extension. And that's a very important, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that awareness, because you have to understand that every action has a reaction. There's a cause and effect to that. And you have to be responsible for the effect that you cause with your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. So these are the core foundations.
Yes, I can see that. I love it. And as we got about 30 seconds to go, when we return on the show, how does this tie in to our extraterrestrial beliefs? And of course, in hour number 2, if you're in our YouTube chat or on X watching through, we will take your questions as well for Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You, which happens near the beginning of each month here on Spaced Out Radio. We love Geraldine around here. She is like one of us. She's just one of us with better hair and a better shoe collection. So on that note, Geraldine, I'm going to get you to hold right on. We are going to take a break here at the top of the hour. My name is Dave Scott. This is Spaced Out Radio, and hour 2 of this great show tonight is coming up next. Stay tuned, everybody. We will be right back. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, we are good for about 5.5 minutes. We're going to turn things over to Dirty Filth because he's dirty that way. And Dirty, it's all on you.
It's all on me. Well, this drawing is called the cutoff. It's when one of the space frogs cuts off from drinking too much milk. 1 second here. I had to cough. They didn't want to cough in everybody's ears. So, nonetheless, here we are drawing space frog. This is the gremlin. He showed up earlier today, and he's here right now, actually. Come on, mister. Of course he's not going to jump up. Come on. He's got unconventional ways of getting on top of the stuff. That's the orange cat, by the way, is the gremlin, so he's a little bit heavier than Blob. There it is. Yep. Continuing with the cartoon. So the space frogs are basically a race of cats that live in space. And they just sort of explore universes and cause all types of tomfoolery and such like that. This guy's call sign is the Gremlin. I can assure you he's not very intelligent either. Look at him sitting there, just slugging away the milk all night. Probably a couple shots of Irish cream or something. Went outside and maybe a seagull. The seagull stole some fish and chips from someone, and here comes the gremlin. He fights that seagull for the fish and chips and wins for it, because why not? He's a rowdy space frog. I don't know. Mark that one down for a good story. We're not really sure. He's a new guy, but they're putting him through his works and whatnot. Forgot about his armpit over there on that side. Over here, he's bloody hell. Look at him. He's at 5 glasses of milk. Unbelievable. Look at him. He's just passed out too. Oh, sorry about that, buddy boy. Here he is. Here comes 32 squared. Gonna kick him out of the joint. Sometimes I like to draw the comics. It tells a little bit explains the story a little bit more. And actually had a moth flying around here earlier today, or this evening rather. It's nice. Look at this weird little bug floating over there too. Spring's coming to Edmonton. Mosquitoes in no time. Poor Dave's gonna be eaten alive up in the mountains. They're mutated Sasquatch mosquitoes. Oh yeah, so we're back to 32 squared here. It's modeled after a Zenith TV. Damn cats drinking all that milk and cream. Finish up the table there, and then we'll do the border afterwards.
What do you say there, Dirty?
Disappeared.
Hi, Steve. How you doing? Who's that watching there?
That's the gremlin.
Wow, we got a gremlin sighting.
Look at him. He's massive. There's the blob. Nope. Fight's on now. Oh boy.
It's
You've
on.
seen this live. Whoop.
It's
Maybe.
on. Come on, make it
Probably
happen.
going to get the blob. Come on, blob.
By the way, a very rude comment by Just Min in our chat room. Hey, Filth, you agree the Oilers suck right now? Dave seems to be on the fence. What kind of heinous comment is our audience members making?
I don't know. I'm not very confident in my Oilers right now.
How can you not be confident? They're going to beat the tar out of the Vancouver Europeans.
It's a stark possibility.
Stark possibility. It's almost guaranteed.
Well, I'm going to make sure I don't watch the games to give the Oilers the best chance they got.
I'm going to be watching. Hi, Major Lee. How you doing? Blue Cruz, good to see you. All right, big thank you tonight to T-Bone ×2, Ant ×2, W. Decker, and Latchkey for the super chats. We very much appreciate the love and support. Don't forget you can get your Spaced Out Radio swag at our website, spacedoutradio.com. We're having a great time. And blob alert, everybody. We got a beautiful blob alert. Give her a pat on the head there, Filth. Here we go, everyone. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, especially Charlie and the gang out in Vernal, Utah at 94X. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning us in. Also, our website. Well, let's get to the password first. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Zenzi Zenik. Zenzi Zenik is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go with Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You, her website, GeraldineOrozco.com, if you want to check it on out. We're talking the phenomenon, consciousness, the connection between humans and aliens. It goes right now. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hi, thank you so much once again for having me.
Oh, we love it when you're here. We do. It's one of those great things that we do. Anyways, I'm curious about the connection. When we are born with that connection, as we talked about the last half hour, does that connect us to everything from Mother Earth to any godly type beings to extraterrestrials, cryptids, paranormal? Or do we have to find that path on our own?
No, so that's a really, really deep question. Think of it this way, and I'm going to go really deep with this information, so bear with me and follow along here. Imagine source, which we see as a white light. And remember that white light, when you put it through a prism, it refracts into many shades of color, many colors. Now, those colors are many frequencies. Those frequencies, due to the prism that refracts those colors, well, each dimensional layer functions like a refraction mechanism. So and the way that our bodies look, and this is something that has been documented since the very first documentation of any visionary that has seen the multidimensional body, either through their own internal work or through working with others. And we also look at the depiction of Jesus Christ himself or Krishna or any of these incredible deities, the Buddha, that have manifested their rainbow bodies. Okay, rainbow body being self-organizing systems of frequency in order. So we are these refracted, self-organizing systems of frequency. And so how we hold certain frequency in the body, for example, if you are a person that is in a constant state of fear, and feels insecure about where you live or your space or something like this, your root chakra is wide open. So most of your frequency is red. So this is the color you're going to see. That's the color you're going to interact with. It's the color that you project. Okay. And it's all about your manifestation starts there at the core. So in that same way, when we talk about, are these things, are we tuning into them? How do we tune into them? How do we actually, start this energetic connection to these things? Um, you know, this is something that is a part of our organism. It's a part of the navigation of this realm, to be able to self-organize those frequencies in a way that we can speak that language, which is an evolutionary process. Just like when we're babies, we're learning how to speak English. We have to master the language of frequency, and that is through the emotional body. So as soon as we begin to work with our emotions, we understand what are the core emotions that run our subconscious mind, then we can begin to understand the frequencies that we run and why we attract the experiences, why we attract the entities, and whether we are more open to connecting with nature or communicating with the elements, things like this. And now, the more high frequency you hold within the body, and we have the ranges of frequency from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, indigo. And then we have the seventh and the eighth chakra. The seventh and the eighth chakra are the one that are connected to manifestation. This is where the non-physical meets the physical here at the crown of the head. This is an extremely important chakra, and not many people talk about it, but it's the key to manifestation. It's the key to co-creation. Co-creation is the ability to choose how you want to experience something. And it's also the relationship with your higher self. The eighth chakra is the relationship with the source. So that eighth chakra is the one that operates like a refraction mechanism. Now, this eighth chakra, when you meditate, a lot of people begin to see indigo or a violet color. Now, this violet light has actually been, and there's papers on this that I have on my website about it, but violet light has been tested and found in all organisms in this universe, from the cells that we hold within the body, as well as in the dark matter of this universe, this violet frequency. So we can say that the violet frequency is actually the frequency. It's like a network of information that intercommunicates and connects us with all living organisms, but also all matter, which is conscious on some level. And it is this field of consciousness that is oscillating at this vibrational frequency of the violet frequency that interconnects all cellular matter at all levels and ranges. So we actually have that within the body, and the way that we interact with them is through quantum non-locality, through the law of resonance. So again, as I mentioned, your fine-tuning of your frequency will define what dimension you open up for yourself for experience. And the other thing is that you have five senses. So your five senses are the translators of frequency in different ways. You can either hear them, you can sense them, you can feel them, you can taste them, you can hear them. So each human has one of these more developed than the other, and it's very much also an ancestral thing. It also becomes a product of ancestral trauma. If you have a lot of trauma where you weren't allowed to speak, a lot of times the development of the throat chakra becomes diminished over many generations, to the point where the human might develop an illness, like a very long life-term illness in the throat. And they begin to develop another sense, for example, hearing. Okay, so we have interconnected systems, and traditional Chinese medicine studies this in depth, and so does Taoist practices of energy systems, where we understand that the meridian systems of the body are interconnected, channeling information. So we can cultivate certain senses to help us translate this communication, and they will help you communicate with elementals, with ghosts, with entities, with beings, interdimensional beings of any kind. We just have to train and learn which one is the sense that you most use, and learn how to speak that language, which is frequency. And the final thing I will say, that because through these senses, what are you picking up? You're picking up information, but the way that the human processes that information is through the emotional body. So remember that your healing of your emotional body and clearing of trauma allows you to understand the information more fully, more neutrally, so you don't become entangled and it's not tainted by your own limited perceptions. That's extremely important in intuition.
We got some audience questions
Yeah.
coming up for you here. And I always like bringing in the audience. And I know you like answering their questions too, because it's
Yes.
kind of fun that way. So let's get right to it here. And let's start off with Sasquatch Guy, who is asking, does our consciousness and connection with aliens allow things like telekinesis? Or is it something different altogether?
No, not at all. In fact, telekinesis, telepathy, remote viewing, all of these are um, abilities that the human has when they cultivate these higher faculties. Okay, so it's completely the result of what happens when you activate these higher faculties. You can move time, space, and matter, just as we have seen demonstrated in films like, the Jedi films, or more recently, for example, Dune. They cultivate a certain voice that makes people do things. So that's just a frequency. All they're doing is changing a frequency. And I've literally experienced being able to do that in my own life. That when I came to the most zero point, literally, when you hold a frequency, people are so programmable. And most people are deeply unconscious and they're operating by their lower natures. And again, when we operate from lower natures, we are very easily manipulated. So we have to be mindful of that in ourselves. And we have to understand that people that enter into, of course, you're not going to go around manipulating people randomly. There are laws of ethics, and there are certain boundaries, energetic boundaries, that have to be respected in order to have these abilities. But all of it is in the service to the collective. You serve the collective, and you neutralize and alchemize negative intentions, negative energies, by utilizing these exact tools to make major transitions, transformations in humanity. So we need more people to cultivate these abilities, and I think that this is the future of humanity.
That's a very interesting thought. I mean, it's so hard to dictate what the future of humanity is. Does that future include a spiritual evolution that will take us not only around, excel humanity to a different level of consciousness, but will that open up other levels of dimensions and areas of travel, from time travel to extraterrestrial contact from space to being able to maybe slip in and out of different dimensions?
Absolutely. And here's why. I mean, many of us that are contactees already, we've been doing it for a long time. A lot of us have gone into these crafts. We've navigated these crafts telepathically. We've learned how to fly them with our intention, with our thought, with our emotions. So this is already occurring in dimensions in which all humans are at some point in their life navigating and exploring. So what is missing is the connection between those out of body aspects of ourselves and the physical. We are now coming to a moment of integration of ourselves. When we integrate the fragments of ourselves that are in dream state and waking state, this is where you begin to integrate the dream, right? It's no longer separate dreams or dream and different areas and location. This is the natural cycle of evolution. We are moving from a 13-dimensional model into a 24-dimensional model, which means that humans, by the frequency of the universe, because it's a higher frequency, we have access to more DNA memory. Okay, that's just part of this entire organism. And that's been happening progressively through the generations, through this evolutionary, which is inevitable. Evolution is an absolute natural part of this architecture of existing here. So you are evolving, whether you think you're evolving or not. Your cells in your body are aligning with the universal frequencies. When there are major cosmic movements, you feel it. When there's solar flares, which are more than ever now, that all has to speak to the major shifts in frequencies that we're experiencing collectively. And so we have to fine tune the bodies to be receptive to those, so that we can learn to kind of see what's coming, how it's coming, and how you participate in that. That's very important. That's why a lot of people that have frequency sensitivity, like empaths, we have to learn how to master that and not be a victim of your abilities, because it's not a fault to have sensitivities. You have to learn how to master them and have really strong boundaries and learn those laws, so you understand what you can take on, what you don't need to take on, and discern the kind of information that's coming through, because it's coming in to everyone.
All right, let's continue on here. We have another question coming in from Chris Laker. Do you practice ascension magic?
I'm not sure what you mean by magic. I don't really resonate too much with the concept of magic. And what I do, because I don't work with elements, or I don't manipulate any kind of frequencies or energies. What I train and what I practice is alchemy, which is the transmutation of any lower form within myself to a higher form. And that's what I hold myself accountable to, and this is what I train people to do. But as a result of that is ascension. And as I mentioned, we are all ascending, which is a natural evolutionary process. But you have to be in the present moment and awake to recognize your ascension, so that you can take the invitations of initiation that are available to you in your path. Every single human is born with an intention that was manifested from your ancestral lineage, that brought you forth into manifestation for the opportunity of healing and ascension. So what that means is that the sooner you recognize what those are, the sooner you will be able to come into your purpose, or your dream life, or your most healed state. That's the benefit of this work, is that you come into live in bliss and harmony. We want to reach states of harmony and unconditional love. This is the most powerful healing.
Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You continue here on Spaced Out Radio. Another question from our audience here for you, Geraldine, from Little Cam over on Twitch, who is asking, does hell exist?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer is yes. Hell, as well, we have to kind of unpack from the Christian point of view, or Catholic or religious point of view. Hell was actually a place called purgatory, in which we are faced with our worst shadows and fears, and we have to relive them in cyclical form. So for any of you that have studied Dante's Inferno, or if you've read any of the old scriptures about what is depicted as hell, it's about cyclical repetition of suffering, constant cyclical repetition. And one of the greatest parts of hell that is described in the Bible is that you don't even know that you're suffering, but you're existing and repeating in that, right? So just question your own life, and how much of your life is repeating patterns of suffering consistently, right? So it's not really an allocated place, because again, we have to understand the holographic model of this system. We are conduits, first of all, organic bioelectrical conduits. Each emotion is a bioelectrical charge that is infused into this holographic system. And so if we infuse this holographic system with a certain belief, we get entangled and repeat unconsciously, not only in this lifetime, but you're repeating it in many lifetimes in your ancestral lineage. And it becomes a core ancestral wound that needs to be healed. And that is a hell, in a sense, as it was depicted by religions, the concept of completely perpetual suffering that you cannot escape. And we actually experience that also in our lifetimes, because when we fall asleep and don't remember ourselves and are unconscious in the waking state, at the time of death, again, your resonance, your frequency brings you right back into the loop to experience the exact same trauma that you have not transcended for many generations in your genetic history. So this, in a sense, repetition is actually what we can define as hell, kind of narrowing down many different schools of thought around this idea of suffering, perpetual suffering.
Do we create our own hell? Like, is there a hell that we go to after death, or do we create our own hell on earth because, we're transfixed on thinking poorly and thinking negatively. We're negative of what we put into our body, not only, with thoughts and actions and reaction, but self-sabotage, even food and beverages.
Yes, exactly, Dave. You said it so beautifully. That's exactly what we do. And so it's not so much of a place that we're going, but one that we are creating in our lifetimes, and we experience that. So we have to break those patterns, addictions, energetic addictions, biochemical addictions, to be able to experience bliss. Because bliss is everyone's right, and it exists all the time. It's available to you all the time. It literally just takes a little tiny shift in perception, a shift in frequency for you to experience that. And then the body will follow organically.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's move on to another question here. T-Bone is asking, can we raise our frequency by listening to certain megahertz? And we have 2.5 minutes before we got to go to break, Joe.
So the quick answer is yes, you can temporarily. Okay. But you have to do the shadow work. Okay. So whatever frequency you're trying to embody, do you even know what that really feels? Do you know how to reach that state organically without the frequencies and hertz? Okay. If you don't, then the answer is no long term. Okay. So you have to learn how to embody that frequency and sustain that state without any kind of external influence. We cannot depend on anything externally. You are the source of everything that you require. And that's very important that you train yourself and cultivate that awareness so that you can navigate this world powerfully.
Okay, so going on that point, with raising our frequency, how do we manifest that? Does it come through meditation? Does it come through positivity? Does it come through prayer? All of it?
Yeah, well, first we have to know what we're looking for. What are we reaching for? What are we trying to transform? It's all about alchemy, right? If you don't know what's lower and if you don't know what's higher, you don't even know what higher feels like. How are you going to transmute them? So, one of the processes of DNA reprogramming is that I train my clients to feel the new feeling, because you see, we are programmed so deeply with the negative emotions. It's our nervous system is programmed, the muscle system, our DNA is programmed. So these are major, major fundamental programs that we have to break in order to feel the opposite. So in order to do that, we have to feel in the body and we have to repeat the new emotion over and over. We have to know how to get there. So this is how we cultivate that in our body. So for example, joy. When do you feel joy? Do you feel it when you see a cat or a flower? So simple, right? So, or when you're drawing or painting, for example. So allow yourself to explore those states of bliss that you are familiar with and expand. Ask yourself, what do I need to create that emotion, that feeling when I'm going to work or when I'm driving in my car, or when I'm with my children or my partner? And begin to cultivate that more and more. And you are going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to have memories of the past. You're going to understand why that hasn't been a norm for you. So yeah, this is how.
Geraldine Orozco, we have her till the top of the hour on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Absolutely awesome questions from our audience tonight.
Yes.
Great questions. We do have time for a couple more if you guys want to sneak them on in. And yeah, it's what we do here. It's what we do here. Very good blobbing tonight there, Dirty Filth. Very good blobbing.
Wow, awesome. This is so adorable. I love it. Look at
Yes.
that cat.
Let's see
Yeah,
what Filth
blob.
finished up for us here tonight.
That is
The
so
cutoff,
awesome.
32 squared and Gremlin. Oh, no more milk, Sprog. That damn milk gets the cats every time, man. Every time. Hi, Heather
Yeah, control
McIntyre.
afterward.
Heather
Oh,
McIntyre, will we
so
see you in Reno? I love it. That milk is powerful stuff there, Geraldine.
I know. Look at how drunk the cat is. It's so cute. I love it so much. Oh, I
He's an
love it.
orange cat. You can't help it, anyways. Poor
So
gremlin.
beautiful. I love how the clock turns too. He's
Hi,
been there
John
all
Milan.
day.
I hear now. Welcome to SOR chat. Yeah, Filth has that. The one thing I love about Filthy's art is that he really captures the small things. It just makes sense, like the clock turning.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is just amazing.
Amazing.
How many
detail.
saucers of milk has he acquired?
Right.
Mhm.
Does he at a milk bar? Like, where's he getting all these glasses from? It's so cute.
Probably some crazy cat lady down the alley somewhere.
Mhm. I'm all excited because I'm heading out to Merle's tomorrow night, and then we
Release
got
the Merle.
to be up at like 4:45 to catch our flight.
Wow, super early.
Yeah, but we're gonna fly right over you, Geraldine.
I know. I'm gonna say hi. I'm so happy that you guys are gonna have fun over there. Are you going to an airport in Reno, or where are you going?
Well, we got to go to LAX first,
Uh-huh.
and then from LAX up to Reno.
Wow, fun. That's awesome.
Yes.
Is it snowing in Reno? How's the weather up there?
Probably the same as it is at home here. Probably starting to get warm.
Nice. That's good.
It's rained for 3 days in Edmonton.
Wow.
That's because they want people to stay inside and cheer for them Oilers. Woo! Hey, the San Jose Sharks got the first overall pick in the draft today.
Oh, wow.
You don't know what that means, do you, Geraldine?
Nope. Nope. But I'm assuming it's really good. So
Yes.
I'm pretty sure
Are you a
the
fan?
San Jose Sharks will win the Grey Cup next year.
Yeah.
that was a dig, right?
We're talking hockey here.
Okay. For the Hawkins, yes.
It's playoffs.
Nice.
It's absolute playoffs. Yep. T-Bone, you'll be in about 10 days you'll be booking your tea time along with the no-show Europeans in round 2 of the playoffs. Mhm. Watch. You can't make this stuff up. And just to piss Merle off, I'm going to wear my Oilers hat and my Oilers boxer shorts on the plane. Yep.
Don't do it, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Tim Mothman, we got to figure out a way to get Heather McIntyre up to Reno.
You're not just going to wear boxers on the plane. You're going to actually wear pants over them, right?
Oh, I'll have pants over top of them, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not bringing my Hockey Night in Canada socks because I won't be in Canada.
Good point.
Yeah. It just didn't make sense. It would screw people up.
Screw them up in metric, too.
I wonder what Geraldine, how many pieces of clothing Geraldine would bundle herself up in to step into a hockey rink and actually go ice skating.
I used to play. I used to do figure skating when I was a kid. I used to go to the ice rink when I was a kid. Yeah.
No.
And I actually loved hockey when I was a kid. I wanted to be on a team, but there weren't any girl teams in Fremont for some reason. I don't know why. It
Girls
was,
hockey has taken off.
yeah,
It's amazing.
it's really fun. So
Oh,
much
yeah.
fun.
Women's hockey is phenomenal to watch. It is so skilled.
Mm.
So skilled. All right. Big thank you tonight to Dutch Hank, T-Bone ×2, Ant-Man ×2, Latchkey, and W. Decker for the super chats. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag here, everyone. No ugly swag. Yes, Heather's in Vegas. And we got 5 seconds. Good night, Filthy. Here we go with the next half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives on any major podcast network or on youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just click follow, subscribe, ring that bell so that way you know when we are live. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Final time tonight, we say hello to Geraldine Orozco and the spiritual you as Geraldine joins us at the beginning of each month to break down our Zen and our Chi. And if you don't have enough Chi in your life, well, Geraldine's going to show you how to get there. GeraldineOrozco.com. Welcome back, Geraldine.
Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to be here, Dave.
All right, let's get to a couple audience questions from Sasquatch Guy, who is asking, what's the best way for a beginner to embark on the journey of shadow work and raising vibrations?
Okay, awesome question. So very, very easy, and also can be challenging sometimes. Here's the thing. Simply, I'm going to give you three steps, okay? First of all, sit in meditation. Just quickly review the past 24 hours. What's the emotion that you most came into in 24 hours, okay? Don't just look for the happy emotion. Look for the deeper emotion too. Deeper, darker emotions. Heavier emotions. Go back to the past week. Take a look at what emotion is there. Month, year. Take yourself all the way back to the womb. And what a lot of people begin to discover is that they've been kind of feeling the same core belief system or emotion all their life. And this is a powerful recognition, okay? Here's why. Because as you begin to see that that's a pattern in your life, you also begin to notice other patterns, experiences. For example, people that are dating, they have the same kind of relationships over and over again. People that are ill, they have the same kind of relapses when there's certain experiences happening in their lives. People have the same kind of abusive boss over and over at every job they go to. It doesn't matter if it's in another part of the world. So these little kind of repetitive cycles that you go through, that's what you have to recognize. So right there is your work. Number 2, what are the things that trigger you? Okay, so it can be something so simple that you go to the store and the cashier says something like, doesn't even say bye, or something so simple. Just that little tiny thing causes deep feelings of abandonment, sadness, sorrow in you. All of a sudden, you're like, why am I feeling this way? So right then and there, that trigger, if you sit with that emotion and allow all of those sub-emotions to come up and you allow yourself to acknowledge them, will come massive amounts of information for you about, first of all, how you programmed yourself into that emotion as you uncover the layers of emotions. And you're going to reach a root emotion, okay? There's primary, secondary, and tertiary emotion. When you get to the tertiary layer of emotion, this is where you start looking at the root memories. And you're going to access memories that you didn't even know were still there. Work with them. That is your gold right there. Another way to do some shadow work is that when you are driving or when you're, doing something, you start to get a memory of something. Never ignore those memories. Those memories are linked to emotional triggers, and those emotional triggers are being triggered by whatever you're doing in that moment. So that's another very important thing to recognize and start working in the emotions in that way. So if you want to go deeper into this work, my YouTube channel, Geraldine Orozco, I have hours of guided shadow work meditations that you can just follow along. You can check out my emotional mastery challenge. It's 30 days, 30 videos of this work into every layer of emotion that you can think of. So definitely check that out. And the last part is cultivate self-love. How do you turn all of these negative emotions into love? How do you get there? How do you bring your body from that angered state into a state of compassion and healing? When you answer that question for yourself every time, you're going to learn and open up new dimensions of your body, activate DNA, and heal your body. So this is a really powerful exercise that you can use. Okay.
Awesome. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Let's go to another question from Michael Fontaine. What do you know about the ninth realm? I've been there twice. I've never heard of the ninth realm before.
Yeah. Are you talking about the ninth dimension? So essentially, the ninth dimension speaks to the ninth chakra body, which is the vortex portal into the ninth dimensional realm of the body. Okay. And again, your body is a fractal of source, which means that the entire universe and its planets and its systems are all mapped out and interconnected in your body and in your morphogenetic field. So when you're doing healing work or when you're activating or deprogramming certain things, you begin to uncover layers of your body by changing that frequency. Okay. And so as you, let's say, let go of limiting belief systems of this lifetime, you begin to encounter more feelings of bliss, and those bliss states allow you to enter into dimensions like the ninth dimensional plane. And so for every person, what they interact with in the ninth dimensional plane will be a reflection of ancestral genetic history in the Akashic records, as well as in your ancestral lineage. Okay, so for every human, but as a general term, the 13 dimensions and under are going to be manifestations of organisms that are more physical. And they're going to fall under certain archetypes. We have 13 main archetypes in this universe. When you look at these archetypes and you understand these different, they're just simply different ranges of frequency. You're going to encounter these different beings in the ninth dimensional plane based on your DNA. So in your DNA, let's say you have a lot of Arcturian bloodline. When you enter into the ninth dimensional plane, you will be able to access, Arcturian-like beings that are reflecting to you certain information that you need. So the key is that whatever dimension you enter, you want to begin to explore the laws of that dimension emotionally, energetically, and you want to understand what your contractual agreements are with that dimension. And you're going to do that by shining your crown light on whatever you encounter, and you're going to ask to be shown the contract. Okay, the contract, that agreement that is created between yourself and this dimensional realm. And you can see if that contract is really big and heavy, you have a lot of work and you're still interacting. It means that your DNA is very active with ninth dimensional layer. Okay, your ninth chakra is extremely expanded. It's overactive and it's working at this time. So wherever you channel most information from, that's the chakra body, the dimensional layer that is more active in your genetic code. So gently allow yourself to look at the dimensions and just see all of them, because you don't want to stick only to one. You want to be able to see all. We have infinite numbers of dimensions through our body. So check them out.
I've never heard that. Infinite dimensions through our body. Where are they hiding? Because I got a lot of hiding spaces on me.
Well, it's source. Source is infinite potential. So, you are a fractal of infinite potential. And so, but there is an organization to that, which is based on frequency. That infinite potential is organized in frequency, from the most dense matter that we can feel in the physical to the most non-physical to the highest dimensions. Those organisms don't even have a body. They're just light or sound or frequencies. So, the higher you go, the more you fine tune your faculties, you can tune into these different dimensions. So it's totally up to what we are activating.
Gotcha. All right, let's get to another question here. Chris Teen is asking, do you help people heal their own health problems?
Yeah, so for health issues, here's the thing. I always tell people to make sure that you're getting medical service that's required for you. Why? Because as long as we are unconscious, disconnected from our bodies, disconnected from our emotions, any number of things can develop into the physical that do require medical attention. Okay. That being said, every single illness, every imbalance in the body has a somatic root in the emotional body and through the senses. Okay. And the nervous, because we are bioelectrical and biochemical system, when we learn how to regulate the body from an out of balance chemistry into harmonious homeostasis, it allows the inflammation in the body to go down, and it allows the body to create fluid runways of life force. That's what we want to do. So what I do is I train people how to open the blockages in their body, both in their physical and in the morphogenetic field, which means old ancestral programs. We flush them out, and there's many ways to do that. One of the ways is called running energy, where you bring green life force energy and gold cosmic energy and run it through the physical body down to the earth and out into your field. This is so powerful. One of the most powerful ways to heal the body. So as you start to work with that, you're going to gently develop your intuition where you can see the blockages and the pain. I'm medical pranic healer, and what I do with clients is when I scan their bodies, I help remove those blockages. And when you remove them, it's amazing how the pain goes down, they begin to heal. And it doesn't mean that you're doing overnight magic or tricks, or it's not a quick fix. This is something that the human has to support the healing. I'm not doing it. The human is doing it. And they have to hold a certain environment in their body of health. So that's what we have to learn. How do we cultivate health in our mind and our body? And that's something that I teach. So you can check out my YouTube for that as well.
Geraldine, as we progress on our spiritual side and get a little bit further and further into where we want to be, is this a generational thing that we get a little bit more open, or is this something where we have to find the path on our own in order to make our life a little bit more spiritual cleansing or spiritually cleansed, pardon me?
Yeah, so every single soul that is incarnate into the physical in this dimension is brought forth. In a sense, it's manifested by the choices that your ancestors have made. Okay. And you are your ancestor. Okay. I know this gets kind of funny because everything is occurring simultaneously in the now. Your access to ancestral memories, lineages, actions, cause and effect, karma, is essentially all available to you in this moment. So your purpose of your life is to the invitation in experiencing the dualistic realm of the earth, is to be able to alchemize, neutralize these ancestral programs so that the reason for your creation, for you coming into the physical realm, is something that can be beneficial and healing, not only for the ancestral lineage, but for the planet Earth and for all humans on this planet. So the invitation of the experience of incarnating into the physical, you can choose two different things. You can choose to heal this earth, or you can choose to perpetuate the suffering through your life experiences. The only purpose is experience. That's the only purpose that every human has, is to experience. And you get to choose that based on the laws of free will. So so accessing this information, all of it is in your DNA, to answer that question more directly. And your purpose is manifested based on what you choose. You get to choose what meaning your life has, what purpose it has, what experience you choose in this time.
Talk about karma a little bit, Geraldine. Reason why is I know a guy in my town. When it rains, it pours. And this is a guy who is very much, I don't want to use the word self-sabotage, okay, but somebody who it lacks a lot of confidence. He does suffer from ADHD, ADD, and a lot of other things on the spectrum, you know. But I'm curious, when I see what he does and everything like that, I just see somebody who is a really, really good person, but just can't get things going because of karma. And it just seems like karma is always biting him in the butt. I think we all know somebody like that. How do we break that cycle that karma starts working for us instead of punishing us?
Okay, so there's a misconception about what karma is. In some schools of belief, they define karma as punishment, or as something negative. But actually, what karma really means is cause and effect. That's all it means, but that's also a lot. Okay? Now, the thing is that when we are unconscious, we don't realize the effect of our actions on ourselves. We don't understand the repercussions, and we also don't understand how they affect other people around us. That's a big thing, because we don't understand how we are causing and perpetuating suffering or not. This is karma. The cause and effect in unconscious states is one that perpetuates suffering. Always, when your choices are made from fear subconsciously. Okay, let's say that you see someone suffering on the street and you run to give them $5. You don't really understand the repercussions of you giving them $5. They can go to the store and get drugs or alcohol and overdose and die, let's say. Okay, so what was that? We have these programs of guilt, shame, and if your core intention for giving those $5 was that you felt ashamed and you felt somehow fearful about that, so you just gave the $5, this is the result of the perpetuation of that choice, right? So in order to change that, you have to be super conscious. You have to be aware of why you do things. What are your intentions? So to change your karma is to reconnect with yourself, be very honest, completely authentic, completely raw truth, even difficult truths, because we even lie to ourselves to preserve ourselves from feeling pain a lot of times. So we need to go beyond that, be very courageous to look at our truth. And that's when you're going to understand why your life is the way that it is. A lot of times we end up in places we don't want to be because all we did was survive. And when we make choices from survival, they're never going to be in a place that are conducive of co-creation, abundance, love, joy. That's the thing. It's a misconception. It's a program that we have, which is also socially engineered. Okay. So what we need to understand is that as we begin to change our intentions and come into raw authenticity, now you can begin to operate from another place. This is the state of co-creation. And what naturally happens is that the individual comes into a neutral state of observation rather than survival. Major difference. Okay. So you can make the same choices, but they're going to have a completely different way of interacting and acting in the world. And this is what is called the conscious human, the new human, that is a manifester, that manifests from high intention, not from their ego, not from their fear, not from survival, not from egos, but the person that is neutral in a state of manifestation and co-creation. they are able to manifest this experience in a way that is conducive of healing of themselves, because it's a loving act. Now it becomes an act of self-love. And this self-love now translates into the act of love to other people and the world. So this is how you change this karma.
All right, continuing on here as we say hello to T-Bone, who is asking, what about the laws of free will? How does this work?
Excellent question. So the law of free will defines that every single human has the ability to choose what they experience. Now, before we get deep into this, here's the thing that we fail to remember every time that we talk about free will. We are extremely complex organisms of self-organizing infinite potential. And what that means, as I mentioned, that white light that refracts into this body, well, the white light, also the refraction mechanism, all of those parts participate in an interconnected network of information. And within your body, and the ancient schools talked about the nadis, and the nadis essentially are the vortex points in the body that exist within the physical body as well as outside of the body. Now, this refers to the morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field represents the instruction manual that brings into form, that manifests into form. Okay, so there are certain rules and encoded in our genetic code that tell the finger to stop writing a finger at this length, right? Stop growing, your nose in a certain nose. It's all based on genetic data. Okay. In that same way, we understand that we are deeply interconnected in a web of interconnections with ourselves, our environment, our ancestral lineage, the entire human race. So when you have this profound level of interconnectivity, you can begin to understand that your decisions, your choices are all somewhat inherited. They're influenced by other information, other ideas and concepts. So a lot of our decisions are based on what we have been shown, what we received in the womb, then what we learned as children, developed into adults. Those are deep programs, but sometimes those programs are not conducive of creation. They're actually counter-creative. So we have to recognize those, we have to break them, end them, and replace them with something different. And this is why all of you light workers that are listening to the show, all of you are pioneers for your ancestral lineages, because you are the ones that are taking the challenge and the courage to understand what it is to be another way, not live the way that we have been programmed and engineered. So free will is the person that comes into the 0 point, no programming, not even from social identities, personalities, ancestral lineage, 0 point. Now you're in the moment of co-creation. Now you exist in a state of co-creation. Biologically, bioelectrically, biochemically, your body can create, and it manifests holographically into the input system of creation. And that's a completely different way of living. Only then do you begin to have free will. Okay, now there are laws of the universe that we operate by, and you have to get to know those laws very well, because your free will ends where those laws are limiting certain things. Okay, like for example, the law of free will. You cannot impose your will on another person. You cannot heal them overnight and they're going to be just fine without knowing what happened. There are certain laws to this organism. That person has to heal themselves or want to heal. If they don't want to heal, it doesn't matter if you do whatever you want, they're not going to heal. Okay, so these are laws in place to help us create boundaries of our creation. And so this is where free will is something that has to be deeper understood.
Geraldine Orozco, it is that time for us to say good night to you tonight. A wonderful show, and we are going to miss you in Reno for our fan party. But nonetheless, we're glad that you were able to make it here tonight. You can find Geraldine on her website, GeraldineOrozco.com, or her YouTube channel, Geraldine Orozco. And she's all over Instagram, too. So you can check out her hair, fashion, and shoe collection right there on Instagram. And it's awesome. Geraldine, thank you again for being on Spaced Out Radio, my friend. Much
It
love
was an
to you.
honor. Much love. Thank you so much, everyone. Love you. Good night.
All right, coming up next, Steve Stockton from Among the Missing. The Jackie Harmon has her hair done, ready for the cryptid report. Well, we will return right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And Jackie has her hair done. We'll show it off to you here in a couple of minutes. Be right back. All right. Let's get ready to do this hour of the Cryptid Report. Jackie Harmon is with us. She will be joining us in Reno in 2 days. Morning, Castle Dude. How you doing? Good to have you here. Big thank you tonight to T-Bone ×2, W Decker, Ant-Man ×2, Latchkey, Dutch Hank, Aloha Dave, and the amazing Cat Chaser for the great super chats tonight. Thank you very much for the love and support, everybody. Hello, Miss Tessa Marie. Good to see you. Don't forget to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag there. So go check it on out. And here we go, everybody. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate hurting your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, including Saga 960 in Mississauga, Ontario. Hello, Jody and crew. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam is set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Zenzi Zenik. Yes, apparently that's a word. 8th power of a number. Zenzi Zenik. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. It is that time of the night where we say hello to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing and another spooky story.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Among the Missing YouTube channel on Spaced Out Radio. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'm about to take you on an unbelievable journey of people just like you. Their stories and encounters will haunt us on Among the Missing. Constructed in Seattle, Washington in 1931 as a lavish yacht, the MV Joyita is a famous shipwreck that has captivated people's interest for years. During World War II, the ship was purchased by the United States Navy and utilized as a patrol boat in the Pacific region. The 69-foot-long vessel was made of wood. Following the war, the MV Joyita was sold to a private individual who transformed it into a commercial fishing boat. It mainly operated in the waters surrounding Samoa, a Pacific island nation. The vessel was famous for being robust and capable of quickly navigating the sea, and it was a common sight among the local fishermen and villagers. On October 3, 1955, the MV Joyita set sail from Apia, Samoa, with 16 people on board, including passengers and crew members such as Captain Tom Miller, a doctor, a government official, and some Samoan natives. Their destination was the Tokelau Islands, located 270 miles to the north. The MV Joyita was expected to reach its destination in about 48 hours, but had yet to arrive. Despite several days of searching, a New Zealand Air Force plane located the ship floating in the open ocean, over 600 miles off course and over 500 miles from where it was supposed to go. The ship was tilted to one side with no visible passengers or crew. In spite of the launch of a search and rescue operation, the missing people were never found. The MV Joyita was later towed back to Apia for inspection by investigators. The ship was severely damaged, with disabled communication equipment and missing life rafts. There's no evidence of any violent or malicious activity on board, though. Various explanations have been proposed for what transpired, including piracy, mutiny, and even a supernatural occurrence, but none have been proven to be the definitive cause. Some experts believe that the ship was damaged by a severe storm, which caused it to lose power and drift for several days before finally being spotted by the search plane. Others suggest that the ship may have been the victim of a structural failure, such as a hull leak or an engine room malfunction. The MV Joyetta's vanishing is a perplexing maritime enigma that is yet to be explained. This occurrence still captivates and intrigues investigators, history enthusiasts, and the public, generating numerous books, documentaries, and other forms of media. And now we have the Lady Lovibond. For centuries, the tale of the Lady Lovibond has been one of the most fascinating legends of the high seas. It tells the story of love, betrayal, and tragedy that has captured the imaginations of sailors and storytellers alike. The Lady Lovibond was a 120-foot, three-masted schooner built in 1784 by John Perry of Whitby, England. In February 1748, the Lady Lovibond departed from London for a typical journey to Portugal. The vessel carried Simon Lovibond and his newlywed wife Annette, who had only been married for a few days. Additionally, the crew consisted of experienced sailors. Legend has it that the ship was headed toward the Goodwin Sands. And unfortunately, everyone on board perished. The story of the Lady Lovibond has been retold in many books, songs, and films, but it takes work to discern fact from fiction. No records of the ship being wrecked on the Goodwin Sands in 1748 exist, and no official reports of the incident exist. Some theories suggest that the vessel may have been wrecked on the Goodwin Sands, but the authorities kept it hidden for unknown reasons. Others think the legend was created to excite an otherwise uneventful trip. The story of Lady Lovibond still intrigues sailors and storytellers globally, regardless of its authenticity. The vessel has become a representation of love, tragedy, and the perils of the sea.
Thank you to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing for a great story tonight. If you like that and more, you can find more at youtube.com/Among the Missing. So go check it on out today. From the missing to the mysterious, let's go. Jackie Harmon is here for the Cryptid Report.
Hey,
Hey. Jackie Harmon, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm excited. I just got done packing my bag. I'm ready to roll.
I packed tonight too.
Woo-woo.
I'm all worried right now about my suitcase being too heavy.
Oh, see, now I never ever check my bags. I do carry on only.
See, I have to deliver all of the t-shirts down there.
Oh, well,
Yes.
go get one of those little weight things. That's what we do at our house. They sell them at Walmart or whatever store you have up there. And then you just weigh the bag.
I never thought about that.
Super cheap.
Never thought about that.
It literally tells you exactly how much your bag weighs.
Well, I've already got it warmed up with Merle that if anything gets a little too hectic, that I can move some stuff over to his bag.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm ready.
Well, take it. Or if you're flying on Southwest, you get at least, what was it, 2 free bags each?
No, we're flying United down.
Oh.
United down.
The funny thing is I'm on Southwest and I still do carry on.
Oh, look at you.
Well, I have a layover and I'm afraid I'm going to lose my stuff. You guys don't want to see me in the same outfit all week.
Well, that's why I've got my carry-on too. Don't get me wrong, I got my carry-on as well.
There you go.
So I've made sure I packed extra undies on that one.
Nice.
You never want to be caught with just one pair of underwear while you're traveling.
I'm not bringing underwear. Boom. Done.
Oh, my.
You know what I thought was really funny was talking about that ship, and I've got the Flying Dutchman back here.
Oh, nice.
My son built that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. It's
very cool.
Took him 2 years. So anyway, you know what I want to talk about tonight since we're going to Reno?
Tell me.
Haunted Virginia City. All the locations in Virginia City. Let's talk about them.
Have you ever investigated there before?
Yes. I have actually been to Virginia City many times. Have you?
I've been there once, and I was there as like a 16, 17-year-old kid.
Oh, it's been a minute. Maybe 2 minutes for you.
About 45 minutes is more like it.
Well, I've actually gone multiple times to investigate. I actually stayed in the Silver Queen Hotel last time I was there, which is actually the number one haunted location in Virginia City. I know most people think it's Mackey Mansion or Piper's Opera House, but I believe it's Silver Queen's number one. And I think that's because it's like more evidence of, what people have actually claimed and seen. But my experience there was amazing. I actually got to stay in one of the haunted hotels or the haunted rooms. I think it was room 11 we stayed in. I think it's 11 and 13 that are considered the haunted rooms. And I think let's see, it's Rosie and Annie are the people, the like spirits that people say that they see, that they claim to see. Very famous for people seeing them. Um, Now, if I can't remember where we're going to like actually go investigate when we're going up there. What do you know the location?
I don't know. That's
Okay.
all. See, Merle's got that all planned out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to talk to Merle. So, okay. So I'm assuming, so I've got a list of places like pretty much like the Silver Queen Hotel. Okay. So basically, it's just the hotel itself is very well known for being, I think it's like the oldest hotel there. If I remember right, it was like 1860, I think, if anybody's on there knows, I think it was like 1860 or something like that. It was built, but there's the historic Fourth Ward School that's haunted there. This whole town is literally haunted. The Sugarloaf Mountain Motel, Piper's Opera House, Mackey Mansion had many, many, many experiences there. The story of the county courthouse where there was the legend of Peter Larkin's hanging still haunts the courthouse. The old Washoe Club, which is basically that. I don't know if anybody knows about the Washoe Club, that like if you're not from that area, that was basically the whole story is okay. So it was built in 1870. It was a luxury bar called the Millionaires Club. The old Washoe Club was known as like the exclusive high roller status meeting place of like for the men in Virginia City. So basically it was like people would go there. There was a brothel, so they would drink and what was going on. So anyway, that's basically what's going on there. But there was actually an explosion that happened there that killed 12 people in 1873. There's been several suicides, missing prostitutes, where I actually did a tour with the owner and a couple of friends of mine last time we were there. And I'm a sensitive, and I don't know if you know that, but we actually went down into like, I wouldn't even call it a basement. I'm not even sure. It's like you're underground, you're under the building, but it's not like a done building. It's like, I guess technically it would be a basement, but it's like you're down on the ground, like you're actually on like dirt ground, and there's like kind of a building built in there. And we had one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had in my entire life, where two people, the owner and another person, passed out in this room. It was like this really small room we were in. And it was absolutely insane. Like out of nowhere, this guy, I don't even think he was like a real believer in it, but just kind of, I mean, he just went, his knees buckled and he went to the floor. So that was really interesting. But yeah, they have found bodies stored in the crypt. Let's see, there's also like trying to see, I'm like, I have made some notes. There's a vacant lot like right next door to the Silver Queen, where it's really weird because fires start there. It's very strange, and it'll burn down the hotels. And it's very weird because like there's nothing there. But it just has this really nasty habit of burning down all these hotels. It's super strange. It started in I think it was like the first one burnt down in like 1860. 3 years later, they rebuilt it. They had another fire, the second hotel. I mean, it's just been one thing after another, explosions, constant fires. Just, it's been very weird. Very strange. So there's a lot of history in this little town. And anybody who knows this area, it's like you can literally walk from like one area of the town to the other, and you're there in about like less than 5 minutes. You're like, and done. So it's a very, very tiny little place, but this place has a lot of haunted locations because of the history itself. Um, we're talking about like gold mining time when people were there, that would literally go there, move there, live there, take their families there. And this place was very well known for the mining, the railroad, and like the Delta Saloon, I believe, is where we were actually at when we had that crazy. And I'm telling you, that was like one of the most bizarre nights. I would actually say the Delta is probably cursed. We went all the way upstairs, and the very first feeling I had was there was one specific woman who worked there. She had a child, and she had gone missing. And I had this very weird feeling. So we went down and below in the basement of the Delta, where I guess they kind of call it the basement. And that's where I believe her body is. And
Oh my.
yeah. So immediately from the second I got down there, I could sense that there was a woman there that two men had killed. And so they had taken her and buried her body. And then when I went back upstairs, I could literally see her and the time where, like, when she lived there, but yet she was like trying to tell us what had happened to her. It was very weird because we had one of those sessions where I was with other paranormal investigators. And, like when you're talking and the spirit box will actually talk back to you.
Yes. You got to think that Jackie just got canceled there for a quick second, probably by the spirits not liking the way she's talking about Virginia City. Yeah, stay away from what we did to those people over there, Jackie Harmon.
Oh my gosh.
Was that the ghost that cut you off?
That's weird. That was really weird. Okay, so this is like the strangest thing because we were every single thing that I said downstairs, and I was explaining this. Now, I did not know this building itself. I don't look up history. I don't want to know what's going on. I just want to see what I get and feel. And so when we were down below, I had told the owner that there was this one woman who lived here, who worked here, who two men had basically taken, raped, murdered, and buried her body. They had wrapped her up, okay, in like a plastic, like a tarp type of clear plastic. And so that's the conversation we had downstairs. Then we end up in this little room off to the side where that's where the owner buckled and passed out. And like, it was very weird. And so we ended up going upstairs and we had that spirit box session. And while we were actually talking, the woman started saying word for word what I had said downstairs. Men had taken me, raped, killed me, wrapped me in plastic. And everyone was just like, what is going on? Like, it was literally word for word. It was crazy. We actually had one friend in the room who I would say was basically like attacked or taken over her body because her eyes went straight black. And we have all this on video. It was an interesting situation, but that is by far one of the most probably haunted locations I've ever been to. So if anybody that we're going up there can get into that location, that's what you're in for. So it is definitely an interesting town for sure.
I do have to ask in regards to what you see and what you feel as an intuitive. How do you know that you're getting the actual messages and not just, I don't want to say playing the part,
Mhm.
but kind of, you're in that feeling, you're in the zone of being in a haunted location. How do you know it's not your imagination?
Well, for me, I actually started seeing spirit when I was 4. And this is something that I lived with my whole life. My dad had the exact same gift. And this is something that I was actually raised and taught to like understand and, respect the situation. I actually didn't come out and tell anybody about the fact that I even had that gift until I was probably about, oh my gosh, I'm going to say like between 30 and 35. Okay. So it wasn't like something that I went through life talking about or telling people about or anything like that. But I see things very differently than most people. The way I see it is like when I walk into a location, like especially a really old location, I see the location like it was in the original state. I see it as if like it was brand new, like grand opening day, and there's lots of people around and the people who lived there and what was going on. I can also see it in the way that it is visually to us. So I'm seeing it almost like in a movie with two different films going on at the same time, but yet I can see it in like this form and that form separately. And that's the way I've always seen it like that. So like I have spirit that comes and visits me. I don't usually have anything that bothers me or scares me. Unfortunately, my son has the exact same gift, and he does actually get spirit that scares him a lot. So we're dealing with things that are in the negative energy, but I'm trying to teach him that he has full control. So it's just something that I think some people have that gift where you can see things. I can actually see things um, from say like something's going on in your home, and I can tune in to actually what's going on in your home. I don't have to be there. I can actually see those things. So a lot of people understand. I know someone said they have amber vision. I've heard that before. I don't know if I even have a name for it. Um, I've never liked the word medium. I like to be an extra small, if we can just say that. But that's just my joke. But it's just something that I think like people just have to understand that some people know how to use their gift, some people don't, but all humans have a gift. All humans they have the opportunity to tune into those gifts and to understand that you can actually use more of that energy or your brain. And I don't mean that in any way like negative, please. Like I know we only use like 10% of our brain, but there are ways of learning how to tune in more to like the other side and learning how to use that. So I was actually taught that very early on. So that's just something that I understand, and I understand how to use it, how not to use it. And you have to be very careful with it too, because when you're as sensitive as I am, you can get bombarded very easily in haunted locations.
That sounds amazing. Bombarded. See, with me, I can tell you with me, because I don't practice my intuition, I only really like go off when I'm around other intuitive people. Then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, just everything kind of explodes, and it's like bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, holy cow, this is rock and roll right now. Total rock and roll.
Well, you know
But
what that is?
Jackie,
It's your energy.
hold that thought. We're
Okay.
going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Cryptid Report, Jackie Harmon is here with us tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We love it when Jackie is here with us. We're going to continue on. We'll get into some monster talk as well. Spaced Out Radio continues in the final half hour right after
This
this.
is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear.
All right.
Cool.
So yeah. So that's basically how I see things. That's the way my dad had the exact same way of seeing things. It was really weird because I grew up with my dad having like dreams and thoughts and I guess like intuition of like things that were going to come, premonitions and stuff like that. I never had those until about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It started for me. Right about a year before COVID hit, actually, I started having all the weird dreams about what was to come. Never had those before. My dad passed. And then I started having them about like maybe 2 or 3 months after. So I thought that was very odd. And I had never experienced those before.
Love it.
Yeah. It was almost like he like left, the earth and was like, "Here, you can have my gift now." So that was really interesting.
That is very, very cool.
Yeah. And I was very close to my dad. So he was my Bigfoot guy, my, alien guy, and you name it. Cryptid, you want to hear some cool stories. If my dad was alive, I'd put him on the show. He was like everything. That man can tell you the best stories. Amazing. And I try my best to like remember all those great stories. And it's like, oh yeah, like how did that go again? He was the best. Yeah. Pass the
awesome.
torch on to me. Yeah, exactly. So some I like, some I don't. Some kind of scare me a little bit because like some of the things that are going on in the world now, I don't want to know. I just don't. And then I have them and I think, oh God, let's just hope that was just a bad dream. I don't want that to happen.
What time do you get into Reno?
I'm actually flying in Thursday morning. I'll be there at 10.
I'll see you at 5:00.
Yeah. I'll
How
be
about
there.
six?
Like, can you guys
I know
tell I'm
nothing.
excited?
I know nothing.
I've already got Lee Strauss and Ane flying in at the exact same time. We're all going to meet. And Lee's already told me he's going to be at one point of the airport going, whoop, whoop.
Nice. Nice. Now,
Right.
you guys, you and Lee, even though you're like best friends, you've never met face to face.
Lee and I have never met face to face. We've known each other for years. We're super close friends. Like we talk every day. Like we literally text each other, "Good morning." We talk all the time. We are just like two peas in a pod. So yeah, you'll see us tootling around all over the place. But yeah, we're super excited.
We don't get a lot of tootling on this show.
Yeah, we're gonna tootle.
Mm-hmm.
Tootly-loo-lee-loo. I might do some of that too.
Right. That's stuff. Very good stuff.
I know my energy. I literally called Lee like an hour before the show, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so piped." I feel like I'm on some kind of drug. I'm like, I'm so excited. I'm about to burst out of my own skin about going to Reno.
I know, right? Oob to Joe's Maine. You've got aliens.
Whoop whoop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. There's going to be so many people. You guys, if you can come, please come hang out with us.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be the party of the year.
It is going to be fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
I look forward to it.
Wait, Joe Monk says, Reno, what's going on in Reno? What is going on?
He knows. He's just being sarcastic because he won't drive the 20 minutes to come see us.
Really?
Really?
You don't want to come see this?
He's got gout. So, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's having a flare up right now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have myalgia, but I'm going to ignore it while I'm gone.
I can bring Joe's beard if you want. I have two. No, actually, I got two of Joe's beards up here.
How in the world?
Yeah, he sends them to me.
Just like what? Grows them out, cuts them off, sends them off?
Yeah, pretty much. When he gets a good one. Hold on right there, Jackie. Thank you to T-Bone with an amazing hat trick. Ant-Man ×2. Aloha Dave, Dutch Hank, W. Decker, Latchkey, and the awesome Cat Chaser for the super chats tonight. Very much appreciate the love and support. And don't forget, people, we do not have ugly swag. No ugly swag at our store, spacedoutradio.com. Here we go, the final half hour, everyone. I gotta love some Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thaw rocking us in with Little Brother is Watching. Hi there, my name is Dave Scott. I'm the guy who hosts this show called Spaced Out Radio. And yes, I do wear a lot of tinfoil. Reminding all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, or check us out on any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Jackie Harmon on the Cryptid Report, hanging out with us, talking about all things weird and strange. Jackie, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
I want to ask you this. As an intuitive, do you have the ability to sense or communicate with cryptids?
Yes, I do.
Talk to me about it.
Okay, so what I do when I go in looking for Sasquatch, because that's something that, if you don't know, that's what I do. And I started this from a very early age because I started having, like I said earlier, paranormal activity. And my father was into the whole paranormal and Sasquatch. And so I was raised that you very much connect your gifts with Sasquatch. My great grandfather actually was an Indian chief on a reservation. And so I was raised with all that like Indian knowledge of Sasquatch and how they used to actually have communication with each other back in the day. So I was told that when you go in, you use your energy and you use your gifts and like the sensitive side of you to connect on that level of like letting them know who you are, how you feel, why you're there, and that you want to connect with them in a very respectful way. And you communicate in a way where you actually like send your thoughts. Like, I don't want to say it's like Bigfoot speaking to me, but I'm speaking to Bigfoot. I verbally do it, and I actually sit and meditate in the woods, and I allow the whole entire area actually. And that's why a lot of times I'll tell people I'll actually go in barefoot. I ground myself with the ground, and I use my energy all the way through my entire body to connect. And then I will literally sit there and just talk, or I will think what I feel. And a lot of times, even we've had this many times on camera where all of a sudden the entire area around me, the colors of the woods will change on the camera. It'll go very bright. The trees will start to change colors. And every single time I'm like even sitting there meditating or talking or using my gift to communicate, I actually do hear things back to me. Now, is that something that Sasquatch is saying, or is that something that maybe I'm getting, something else happening? I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but I do actually have that communication going on where I'm speaking and I feel like something's speaking back to me. I actually don't think that Sasquatch is like a scary being. I think that they just want to make people know, like, look, you're in my home. When you get too close to something like Sasquatch family or their home in general, they just want to make sure that, you're not getting too close. Like, that's like someone breaking into your home. But I do actually connect, and I do actually speak to them where I'm saying what I want to say in a way of like, look, we're here out of respect. We're just, researching. We're just, going to wander through the woods. And, if you're okay with that, then we're going to go forward. And I actually do feel like they speak back to me in a way where it's not like a person speaking to me, but I start to get like a very warm feeling of energy inside me. And every single time I do this and they're shooting this on camera, like I said, the woods will start to change and we'll actually feel like a vibration. And then you'll see like the say the trees and the leaves will start to change colors, and it'll become like something else is there letting me know, okay, we understand that you're coming in. We respect that. We're okay with that. And I've never had one negative experience ever, but I very much go in with 100% respect and let them know why I'm there, what I'm doing. This isn't like I'm going to sneak around and, try to harm something, because I would never do that. So, but yeah, I actually do try to have that communication where I feel like they do know. And actually my dad used to tell me like, when they would go out looking sometimes without me, a lot of times nothing would happen. But almost every single time I was there, we would get a lot of activity. He says that Bigfoot remembers us. They actually have like a memory of like specifically who you are and your smells. So I was taught very early on to like leave DNA and ways of like, maybe I hate to like say this all the time, but I've said it before, but like sometimes I'll just go pee somewhere in the woods. Like you just want to leave your scent. But they do remember you. And if you go in with this, good positive energy, and you're using your energy to share with their energy, and they know who you are, they're going to come around more. You're going to actually have sightings. You're going to see them. They're going to feel more comfort with knowing that, you're walking in and you're not there to harm them. So it's something that I was just learning, like, very young. I actually teach my kids the exact same thing. My older son's very much into looking for Bigfoot and the whole alien interdimension connection. But yeah, that's just like what I normally do. And like I said, there is some kind of communication going on because the woods are responding. And I feel like that has a lot to do with Bigfoot saying like, okay, we're okay with you. We know who you are, and we've seen you grow. Like, I mean, if it's like, so let's just say it's the same Sasquatch from when I was 4 years old wandering around. Let me tell you, that Sasquatch knows me. I've been out there a million times.
Well,
They know me.
you just brought up an interesting point there. Does Sasquatch recognize us?
I think
Do
they do. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yes, I do believe that they do recognize us. They have an amazing sense of smell, very much like you would say, like dogs who sniff, clothes and go find humans that are missing. I do believe that Sasquatch has an amazing sense of smell, that they specifically remember who you are. I grew up going to the same locations over and over and over and over and over. And that's because I was taught very early on to have a pattern. You want to show them that you have a pattern of like coming in, doing the same things, showing them that, I'm here for good. I'm not here for harm. And they start to remember you. So in a way, I guess Sasquatch in the areas that I've had experiences have watched me grow up. If you think about it like that.
Do you think they're growing up with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it was your show. I think I told you before, like my very first experience of any Sasquatch was the childlike small, they were playing and they were like kind of making that, the chatter with each other. and they were like jumping up on this rock and kind of, it was almost like a jump and a tag and a jump and a tag, and they were all playing with each other. And so for me, my first experience was very playful and fun, and it just made me want to know more and see more. It was nothing to be afraid of whatsoever, and nothing came out. And even if they did see us or smell us, they didn't even react in any way whatsoever. It was like I wasn't even there in a way, because I was like, maybe, I don't know, I'd say 100 feet away, maybe at the most.
How about other cryptids? Have you had that interaction with other cryptids as well? Dogman, little people, gnomes, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen other weird things. The things that I have seen though don't really have names yet. I don't know how to, I don't really understand how to explain name wise. They're more like see-through, almost shadowy, like looks like an animal, doesn't acknowledge me. Um just, and I don't know, I'm still to this day trying to figure out like what to call it. I've looked it up 1,000 times. I've had that experience. I have had one very odd experience, like a dogman style creature, or a um skinwalker. I'm not even sure exactly what you would call it, but it was in Utah. It was with my mom and my dad, my sister. We were driving through, I believe it was Utah, and we were down this like really long, weird road. And this thing just sort of kind of jumped out in front of us, and it was walking, but it was very much like manly dog. But I don't know what you call that. Like, don't quite understand like what you would call that, other than like the only things that I can relate it to would be dogman or skinwalker. So outside of that, like I do see things, but they are more like in haunted locations, or I very much see weird things around like cemeteries. Um I've had weird experiences with things like that on an old ship here in San Diego. I had a very weird experience about some kind of like animal creature thing that walked across the ship. Um, Cannot, still to this day, there's no name for what, I don't know, even know what you would call it. It just sort of looked like a dog, but ran off and then stood up for a bit and then ran off like a dog. But then again, I've also heard Sasquatch does that as well. So there's not a lot of people who claim that, but I have heard that there are Sasquatch who will literally jump on all fours and then take off like a dog.
Incredible. Incredible. I've heard of that too. I actually have a friend of mine here in town who had something like that happen right in front of him. And he said this thing was so big that it was on a gravel road where you could still fit two cars, going back and forth. He said, but whatever this was down on four legs, about up to his hood on his vehicle, and was stretched across more than half of the lane.
Mm, that's
Crazy.
crazy.
Totally crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of Bigfoot conferences happening right now. And as you know, I just got back from Nebraska as well. One of the things that I was very, very pleasantly surprised about was the fact that there were people from the woo side, there were people from the flesh and blood side, but everybody was there together.
Absolutely.
Nobody was bashing one or the other side. I really expected some sort of dramatics there. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I was thinking that there was some sort of dramatics going on there because, you just expect it. You expect it.
Yeah. I have been in the paranormal world. I have been in the Bigfoot world for a very long time. And I personally have seen the most drama I have ever seen in my entire life when it comes to the paranormal. Okay. I'm talking the ghost hunters, the people who are, for whatever reason, fighting for their 15 minutes of fame. I don't know why. I mean, if you're in it, what are you in it for? Do what you want to do and enjoy it. But when it comes to the Bigfoot world, I just don't see that. There's no arguing, there's no fighting. We all just like enjoy each other. We respect each other. It doesn't matter which way you think, feel, see your experiences, non-experiences, whatever. It's just a very enjoyable community.
I was blown away. That was my first Bigfoot conference that I had been to. And I found it absolutely out of this world, pun
Yeah.
intended. You know, I mean, you had people who were very much into it. You had
Mhm.
people who were questioning, well, this person says it's flesh and blood. What is your thoughts on everything? And they were very open and not as argumentative as
Yeah.
I thought people would be. You know, I mean, to me, that actually gives me a lot of hope. It really does.
Yeah.
You know, considering what is going on in this field right now, and you know, and I'll be honest with you, with especially the UFO world, I've been very down lately about it. Very down. It's not sitting right. Any
I have to tell you something really funny that I just heard today. It's actually kind of cool, but it's funny. When it comes to the whole alien, okay, getting proof of an alien. And I don't know if you heard this, but you know those ring cameras that are capturing like creatures coming up to
Yes.
people's front porches or walking across the sidewalk or the driveway or whatever. So Ring announced, I don't know if it was today or if I just heard it today, but Ring just announced that if anyone can get show them the video of a real alien proof on their video camera at their house, and they actually take it to the proper people who are going to like, you know, check out the video and make sure that it's an actual real alien, they're going to give them $1 million. So I went to Costco to get a ring today. So I'm just letting you know all aliens are allowed to come here now.
Yeah, no kidding. What are those rings worth? I haven't even looked.
I mean, you can they range. The one that I looked at and got mine's around $200. So I guess it just depends on like what kind you get, but they're definitely worth getting. For especially what's going on in the world, you know, you don't know. Like I I'm not gonna like put this out there to like make people think I'm some crazy person because I'm a single mom and I live home alone. But I'm a single mom and I live home alone, so I want to be safe. You know what I mean?
I would just throw it on out there.
Throw it on out there. But you know, I'm just trying to protect myself and my kids. But I just noticed, like Tim was asking, have I been to the Whaley House? Yes, I have been to the Whaley House in San Diego. I actually stayed in the hotel right behind it. And the Whaley House is amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of probably the best locations in San Diego, haunted locations I've ever been to. I think someone else asked earlier about the ship, and I was going to answer that, and I totally forgot about that. Forgot what it was now, but
Did you know with the ring cameras that the sharks on Shark Tank actually turned down this product?
oh, you got to be kidding me.
And I believe it's Mr. Wonderful who said it was the worst business decision he ever made,
Wah, wah.
and ended up
Those people
losing.
bank.
And then Shaquille O'Neal invested in them
Whew.
after trying to get a bunch of security offices or companies to guard his house, and they were trying to charge him like tens of thousands of dollars, knowing that he had it. And he bought a couple of rings and said, "I'm going to invest."
Yeah.
And then the company went and sold to Amazon for like well over $1 billion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. That place is making bank. And I
Oh yeah.
just finally noticed it. It was the Star of India. Yes, it was the Star of India. And I don't know how you knew that, or if that was just a guess. But anyway, that was where I was. Very interesting. That's an amazing ship.
I would agree. We
Yes.
got under 2.5 minutes to go here on Spaced Out Radio, and obviously working very, very well. I am so excited to meet you in a couple days.
I
Very
know. I'm so excited. I can't even
Me too.
sleep.
Well, I have to sleep because after my work day in the afternoon tomorrow,
Mm.
I have to drive 5 hours to go meet up Merle.
Oh my gosh, where's Merle?
Merle is by the airport that
Oh.
Dave has to get to. So I got to go meet up with Merle. And once we're there, we got to get up early, like 4:30, 4:40,
Yeah.
get to the airport.
Me too. I have to leave. I think it's like 3 or 3:30 in the morning. And my flight leaves at 6. But because I live down in Southern California, we have really bad traffic early in the morning. So I'm not taking any chances. I'm getting my butt there.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Get your butt there. Get it there.
Yep.
That's going to be awesome.
I'll be there.
I so look forward to meeting you.
I know.
And
I can't wait.
let's-
Me too.
Ane, the party animal.
The
Ane.
party. I know. I was like messaging Dave one day and I'm like, just letting you know, I go to bed at like 9.
Yeah. Yeah, we brought the life of the party to the SOR fan party this year. Jackie Harmon, it goes to bed at like 9 o'clock. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Not true.
As I roll right now. Eye rolling big time. But it's going to be a blast. And I want to say thank you for supporting Spaced Out Radio and wanting to come to this event and have some fun and talk some ghosts and cryptids with us. You'll hear Jackie on our live show on YouTube this weekend if you want to check it out. Jackie, thank you so much for being here on Spaced Out Radio. You hold on while we get ready to say goodnight to these wonderful people tuning us in tonight all across this beautiful world of ours. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. I know you're out there somewhere. Remember, this show is copyright with Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Sheets are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Woohoo! We done. We done.
Can't
We done.
wait to see you.
Oh, dude, it's going to be amazing.
Oh my God. So amazing.
Amazing.
Whoop, whoop. Yes.
Yeah, man. man.
Before I saw someone today. No, 9 a.m. you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that, T-Bone. I don't know. She's a pretty hardcore 9 p.m.er.
I'll be like about 8:55.
Yep, she's gonna be the lady sitting with her pillow and pajamas at a slot machine at 9:15.
Hey,
And she's gonna have like that cucumber cream or avocado cream on her face.
I actually did pack my fuzzy slippers though, because if my feet get tired,
Oh my word.
I'll be tootling around.
Oh my word.
There she is. feathers flying.
You know what? I actually I've been keeping this quiet all show because like I just you know, I like to keep things quiet, especially when it's not good news.
Oh no.
No, this is difficult to say. El Avni Volador is heading to Reno.
What?
El Avni Volador will be in Reno.
I know who that
The
is.
guy is an absolute jerk, okay?
Oh
He's
no.
just a jerk, and all he does is stir crap up, and he is apparently heading to Reno, and I'm not happy about this. You know, like, I want to go have a good time. You know, I want to go have a drink with my listeners, relax, have fun. And then El Avni Volador announces that he's coming. It's
Well,
ridiculous.
what are we gonna
You
do about
know, you try and have a good time. You try and just be yourself. You know,
that?
I'm going to put him through a table. I am. I'm going to put him through a table. You know, like, why come and ruin a good party with good people?
Yeah.
But that jerk is just
That-
terrible human being. Terrible.
Off. I'm gonna be covered in bubble wrap when I walk by that guy.
Oh my goodness. You know,
I'm gonna
I'm
get
going to take him to
slammed.
Suplex City. That's for sure. He's a horrible, horrible being.
Bam.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be on the
we're just-
dance floor, and all of a sudden, bam, on the floor.
We're just gonna sick on him.
Oh, I'll be like, go get him on A.
Yep.
She'll be like, who?
Trouble that on a. Nothing.
Who?
Uh-huh.
I know her all too well.
Where does she live?
Tucson. Matter of fact, she just moved. She just got a brand new house. Got the keys, I think, like Friday or Saturday, and she's literally moving in as we speak, and then trying to unpack stuff so she can find her clothes, so she can pack her bag. So she'll probably be
Nice.
going out of Phoenix, I think, but she's meeting me and Lee at 10 a.m. and we're all gonna Uber over together.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yep. That's going to be a what did you call it? What do you Americans call it? A hoot nanny?
Hoot nanny. Well, I don't know
Whatever
about you. Mine's more like a
Whatever
toodaloo.
I don't know what that stuff is. I'm way too Canadian for that stuff.
Well, I was a little sad to find out that there were certain things that you can't pack in a bag. So I had to take that out. I had to take that out.
What?
It says TSA. So, you know, here goes that fun. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's going to be so much fun going on. Like I can't even stand my own self right now. I feel like I'm on sugar and coffee and some crazy drug right now. I'm just like, woo! I can't even stand it.
It's that type of night. It's just that type of night. You know? And wait till you get merled. Once you get merled, you can never go back.
Well, now I need that. What is that? What's going to happen?
You're going to meet the Merle.
Oh, I definitely cannot wait to meet the Merle. I've heard about Merle. Pretty sure I want some Merle.
You got to take Merle in doses.
Oh, well, most people can only take me in doses, so I get that.
Yeah, I can tell. Trust me.
I wake up like this, literally.
Merle, everybody. Merle.
Merle and Jax. I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's coming. You're just going to get Merled and Jaxed.
Trying to figure out how I chip my tooth.
Right now?
No, sometime this evening.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's all right. Hold on. that a broken one?
Yeah.
No, it's
You
the
can
other-
take. Is it if it's just a baby chip? You can literally take a file and just file them down. Like
It'll file down on a couple of good steaks.
you can file your teeth. You can shape them and everything.
It's not. No.
You can technically.
No. That's what I have a dentist
I'll
for.
do it. You come here and I'll file them down for you.
Jackie, are we getting tattooed this weekend?
Oh my God. I was literally just thinking about that earlier. I was like, oh my God, we should all get tattoos.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
down.
get a tattoo. I'll get a tattoo if you get a tattoo.
Okay, what are you going to get?
I'm
How
gonna get
big
an
does it
alien.
have to be?
I'm gonna get an alien.
I'll tell you what, I'll get an alien with you. You already have Bigfoot though, right?
I've already got Bigfoot. Yeah.
Okay. I thought about getting Bigfoot a while back. That's a lot of hair. I had a feather done, a really big feather right under here in my boob area, right under my boob. And that hurt like hell.
Why would you put a feather under your boobs?
Freedom.
Did you think literally you were gonna grow wings and fly? I mean, let's just be honest.
Well, if we're going to be honest, I was covering up someone's name.
There you go.
And I asked them, like, what do you think I should get? They're like, a feather. I was like, okay, let's get a feather. I mean, I've got the date on my arm right here. You want to know what that stands for?
I can't even see what it says.
Okay, November 9th, 2019. I don't even know if you can see it. Wait, can you see it? I don't know. That's the day I got the tattoo.
You know where I was November 9th, 2012?
No,
I was at a Guns N' Roses concert in Las Vegas.
in 2012.
Yeah.
Well, this is 2019.
It's the first time I saw Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal play live.
Cool. Who are the first people you ever saw in concert?
My first concert I ever went to was Skid Row opening up for Aerosmith. I was 17 years old.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I saw the Police, 1984. Can't remember the name of the place I saw them at, but Oingo Boingo opened for them, got booed big time. And then I ended up seeing Oingo Boingo 2 more times way later when they were like super popular. So that was a lot of fun.
The worst opening band I ever saw was King's X. They opened up for AC/DC in Vancouver. They were terrible. They got booed off the stage.
Oh my God. I
Yep.
mean, AC/DC, that's huge. Why did they have someone crappy come on before?
No idea. They were terrible.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of good memories. I'm a big music girl, lots of concerts. I grew up going to concerts. I took all my kids to concerts. I still go to them. I love them.
There is a great concert. I'm actually going to get tickets for it here soon. They're playing like 4 hours south of me in Kelowna. It's The Warning opening up for Hailstorm, opening up for Evanescence.
Oh, I love it. I'm a huge Evanescence girl. As a matter of fact, I saw Evanescence here a few years back. And oh my gosh, I think it was like, it's been a minute, probably 2017. And they were amazing. Absolutely flipping amazing. Hollywood Bowl, out of this world. Love
Well, I'm actually excited to see. I've wanted to see Hailstorm for a few years. I'm excited about them, and I'm excited about The Warning. The Warning are like 3 sisters, and they made it big on YouTube.
That's cool.
About 10 years ago, 8 years ago, where the sisters put out a cover of Enter Sandman that went viral.
Nice.
Yeah, so they got
That's
picked up, and and everything. But to me, my favorite female singer ever is Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. She is
Oh,
just so
amazing.
freaking
Um,
amazing.
Yeah, she is amazing. I have horrible allergies. Don't mind me.
She is one of the, believe it or not, she is one of the only women in history to get a guitar deal with Gibson's.
Wow. We have a huge Gibson museum down the road from where I live.
I would cry there.
It's so funny because we get people who come and visit all the time, and I'm like, "What do you want to go do?" And they're like, "We want to go to Gibson." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh yeah, you want to go to Gibson.
Go to Gibson. Then we go to Disneyland.
I like Disney.
I live 45 minutes from everything. Literally. I'm like smack in the middle of everything.
Oh yeah. All right, buddy. I got to run because I have to get everything edited and packed up for tonight. We will see you on Thursday afternoon.
I will see you then. I'll be lit. Well, maybe not
I'm
too.
trying to trip you, just so you know.
I cannot wait. I am so excited to finally meet you in person and get to see everybody who's coming. I'm super excited.
Me too, bud. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right. See you then. Bye,
All
guys.
right. And thank you to everybody tuning us in tonight and those for the super chats. Christine T-Bone times 5, Cat Chaser, Aloha Dave, Dutch Hank, Ant-Man times 2, Latchkey, and W. Decker. Much love, everybody. We will chat with you very, very soon. Good night, everyone.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.